All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you guys had an incredible weekend. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Carlos. I'm doing good. How was your weekend?
Weekend was good, man. Had a great weekend. Did some football with my son out in the backyard. We did a lot of football in the backyard, both days actually, and he's so into it now, man.
Really?
So yeah, had a great weekend. Can't complain.
Yeah.
My team still sucks, the Giants, but you know,
Yeah.
we had a great time, man. How about you?
You got to turn the sound on in the chat room.
Oh yes, chat room. There it is. All right,
There
now
it
you guys
is.
got
All right.
sound.
Hello.
All right, you didn't miss much. I was just talking about how my team sucks, but we could skip right through that and get to the good stuff. Peter, so how was your weekend?
It was good. Pretty quiet. Most of my weekend was consumed with getting everything ready for winter. So I had to declutter, I guess, the backyard. Last mow of the grass, put down some winter fertilizer, put all the lawn furniture. It's
Yeah.
it's a sad time of year, but you know what? The weather was pretty good, so take advantage of it before it gets cold and windy and rainy and all that stuff. So didn't winterize the car. No, one of the things I didn't get around to was I wanted to wash the car while it was still warm. I'll have to figure out some time to do that this week. It's supposed to get colder this week, so yeah. First time we had a low of 0 this morning, so apparently it's 0 out there right now.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely the colder's coming in. That's for sure. All right, friends, let's get to it. Gappers is brought to you by TradingTerminal.com. So much stuff in the green today as markets continue to explode, hitting all-time highs. So I got the SPY all-time high here. Did so on Friday as well, but today again, and NASDAQ also just destroying it. And as you can see here, a lot of stuff in the green. So we have such a jam-packed week, Peter. Let's get to some of the stuff we're happening today. But man, this week is there's like a blockbuster week for events.
For events, yes. For data, no. There's only two pieces of information that I am aware of that are coming out that are really important today, which is the durable goods and the new home sales, but we're not getting it. So these are both produced by the U.S. Census Bureau, and like so many other government departments, they're not working at the moment. So it doesn't look like we're going to be getting that data. The Atlanta Fed, the GDP now data should come out because the Fed is still working. So that might come out at 11:30. Not usually something that moves the market, but I put it on there just because without other data, you never know. Sometimes the market sort of says, well, we'll take what we can get and react to that. So we'll see. But quiet. There's nothing else going on. So we need those Fed workers, I guess, back at their posts to be able to produce economic data for us to trade upon.
Yep.
Bring
everybody else back.
All
the crucial people, military, bring everybody else back. Don't bring financial data people back. Obviously, clearly, we don't need them. The market does not need them. They could stay home. But everybody else is more critical. Bring those people back. I mean, just look at this market, man. Unbelievable. It's like it does not care about this data at all. So the significance of data is becoming a little bit interesting here, Peter.
Yeah, it's impressive at how much the market is still moving higher despite having certainty as to where the economy is going. Usually the markets don't like uncertainty, and that usually means they trend sideways to downward when that happens. But it's a very, very different reaction from the market now than we used to see. So I don't know what that means, but all we can do is stay sharp and find trading opportunities.
Yeah, and good thing for us this week, we're going to have plenty of stuff to trade on, so it should be a whole lot of fun. Just with earnings, trade talks, all that good stuff should give us a lot of volatility. All right, let's take a look at this gappers list. We'll start with the first three, but I can already tell you, Peter, today's probably going to be one of those days where I'm going to be looking at my usual suspect because it's just way too much to go through here And again, just
Yeah.
everything is just green. If you're red, we got to figure out well metals. And this is Jared's play here. Metals, gold, all this stuff is just down, right? I mean, it's just taking a big hit. So we'll get into that in a second. CLIK this morning, first one up. Click Holdings, we are up 80%, 9.6 million shares traded here. Do I have the right? Yeah, I do have the right. 90, yeah, 80%. Yeah, so here it is on the daily. So again, just looks messy. As high as 18, as low as 10, hanging out 11. Peter, anything good on this Click Holdings?
It came out because of earnings. This is a super low float. I mean, I see only 170,000 shares in the float. Like it's ridiculously low. So yeah, no wonder this thing is going to move. Yeah, they had good earnings, but really, who cares? I don't even know what they do. They're personal services out of Hong Kong. There's a lot of these. Not to, ruin the gappers list, but almost everything on here is some form of garbage.
Yeah, the first few you could tell they're not great. The good stuff seems to be down here, but I do see plenty of nice stickers towards the bottom. But usually the first top ones are not great. Let's look at the next one here. RNA. This is Avidity Bioscience. I don't know how they got the ticker. Oh, RNA registered nurse assistant. I guess that makes sense. But what did they do here, Peter? What's the latest? They're up 43%, 6.2 million shares traded. Float on this one's a little bit higher, 107 million. So they got much more going probably than the one we just saw.
Yeah, you don't have to get used to the name too much because they've just been acquired by Novartis for $12 billion cash. So whenever we get a buyout, the price just goes up to roughly the buyout price and sits there. So that's what you can expect to happen here. This is not a tradable opportunity.
Yeah, not good. All right, let's go to the next one on here. GGAL. GGAL. All right, let's see here. Grupo Financiero. So definitely some kind of a South American company here. With the Spanish name there says Group Finance. Up 40%, 324,000 shares traded. Usually these financial groups don't trade well, especially one that's out of the country. Probably it's even worse, Peter. So probably won't be looking at it. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, this is looks like it's a bank out of Argentina. And Argentina's obviously had a whole lot of inflation challenges. I think this is probably um, just a rebound. If you sort of zoom out on the daily chart, you can see some of the movement, if I could, that it's had, which has mostly been downward. So the fact that it's moving up, I'm not going to get too excited about today. Certainly not going to trade it. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
trade U.S. banks. Not going to start trading Argentinian banks.
Yeah, yeah, this is not great. All right, we'll leave it alone and let's do one more. Then we're gonna hop around here. B bar. How can we not do B bar? So let's see B bar. What is this about? Another bank. So another bank as well. This is also another South American bank. Looks like. BBVA. I've seen that bank before. I've seen those letters before. Um, but here they are. They're up 40%, 407,000 shares traded. But as Peter mentioned, usually these they barely trade good over here. Anything out of the country probably trades even worse. So, Peter, another one that we probably would skip.
Yeah, it's another bank out of Argentina. So we seem to be getting a little bit of a rally in these banks, which have been, beaten down quite a bit over the last little while. Um,
Ah, so
I
here it
mean,
is. So
I guess
Argentina had elections yesterday.
they did. They
Jose.
had elections, and they're thinking that's going to bring a little more stability to that banking, the banking system and the economy overall.
Mm,
So, I mean, that's why they're moving pre-market. But again, I don't expect them to trade well once the opening bell rings. So.
yeah, yeah. All right, so there it is. That's the reason why you're seeing some of these names gap up here this morning. Again, not great day trading tickers, so we'll skip on some of these. All right, Peter, we'll go to you early. I mean, let's go to you and see what you like from the gap up list. I'm gonna probably be looking at some of my favorite tickers, the PLTRs, the Nvidia, the Amazons, the AMD, all that good stuff. But what do you like this morning, or maybe anything gapping up that you like today?
Well, everything's in the green. At least all the major stuff's in the green this morning. So we're looking at a happy day on the markets, or at least a green day. Um, yeah, like you said, go to the usuals. I don't care. You can look at the semis. They seem to be doing pretty well this morning. AMD and Nvidia leading the charge as usual, up 2%, 2.2%, both of them. Tesla also up this morning. Tesla's again still interesting to me. Look at this range that it's just been trapped in for, oh my God, a month now. But it's been giving good trading in that range, but it's not going anywhere. So it's going nowhere fast. But it means it's in play. So pick any one of those. PLTR has not been as good for trading, much tighter in terms of the range that it's been trading, which is rare. However, on the daily this morning, it looks like PLTR is gapping up over top of that. So maybe that signals an opportunity here as PLTR can maybe get over $190 and go a little higher. I'll be keeping an eye on that just to see if it does something interesting. But like you said, those are my usuals. Those are the go-to. One that was moving well last week that might, yeah, we'll have to see where it goes. Oklo, OKLO. I see that it doesn't tend to do a lot pre-market, but it can give some decent moves over the course of the day, so might be worth keeping an eye on. And then of course the quantum sector that I know a number of people were looking at different stocks, whether you like the QBTS, Rigetti, or QUBT, they're all options.
Yeah, I do like some of these. They've been pretty good in play. Too many letters on that one. UBTS is usually a good one, but there's plenty on here. Ion Q. There's a bunch you could look at this morning. Not sure which one I want to look at yet. Again, just not sure. Not sure. All right, let's see what's gapping down. So clearly, Peter, these these tickets are on their way down after having a beautiful run lately. Is the party over on you, Amy, and all these other tickers?
I mean, for now, I think it seems maybe political focus has shifted a little bit. Um, and that's that lack of attention to your rare earth metals has got them sliding a little bit. I think it'll be back. I don't think the story's over on this. But we'll have to wait and see. Today doesn't seem to be the day for them to play. I mean, maybe it's a day to play them all short. I'm not sure, but I don't think they're generally in play today. So um,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not sure what to do with
haven't.
them. I'm not going to put a primary focus on them. If they jump up on our list or people in our chat room mention them, then I might come back. Otherwise, I'm not going to be paying all that close of attention to them.
Yeah, just going through some of the stuff on here. We even have the LAC, which is a lithium batteries
Yep.
on this list as well. Gold. I mean, you name it. Some of these we have seen plenty of times. I'm not a big fan of them, and even when they're in place, usually not my go-to anyway. So yeah, we'll keep this off. All right, Peter. As far as gapping down, anything you like this morning, or anything you'll be keeping an eye on?
Well, it's just worth mentioning that gold and silver prices seem to be down this morning, which is partly why we're seeing a lot of these miners that I see miners on the list, as well as crypto prices. Interesting, a lot of the crypto related stocks were on the gap up list, like MSTR and what else was I seeing on there? Hood and Riot and Mara and CLSK. They're all gapping up as Bitcoin prices are a little higher today, 115,000, which is up from remember they were hanging out, just in the low hundreds, 103, 102, so now that they're up a little bit, I guess people are moving the stocks, related stocks, a little bit higher, but we're nowhere near back to the 120, 125 that we had been trading at the beginning of this month, beginning of October. So, we'll have to see what's going to happen with those. I feel like that entire space, all of the crypto, has been much quieter over the last little while. So that doesn't give us the good trading opportunities that we generally look for. The active markets that we look for. So So nothing there for me. Um, and Carlos, that's about it. Really, that's all that's moving. It's other than that, feels pretty quiet. The gap down list, not a lot happening overall, other than those sectors. And MP, unless you want to go there, but MP's on the list
MP.
with all the others.
Yes, yeah. And you know what? And to give it its credit, it's probably one of the best trading ones out of all these mineral tickers. This one does trade very well. So, look at the drop it had here over the last couple of days. And if I am going to watch one of these, it will be MP, no question. So, I'll put MP on the list. It will be on the secondary, of course, because I'm not a huge fan of it. But one is going to be there's going to be this one. All right, friends. That's again the gap up massive today. All your tickers, if anything you trade in the last 2 3 weeks is probably here. I mean, AMD, Coin, POTR, Nvidia, BABA's here today. Maybe Chinese tickers can do well today with Trump being out there and doing some stuff and having some conversations. BABA's up 2.9 this morning, 527,000. Maybe it could be a day where we watch some overseas tickers. So let's put BABA on deck today and see what goes on there. But I'll build my list. Let's go to what you guys have first, and I'll build my list with a bunch of usual suspects depending on what you guys throw out at me. So let's start here. Brian, you're giving us Baidu. That's another one too that you might be going for today. So if we look at Baidu this morning, what do we have here? Yes, we're up 5.3, 216,000. I prefer to trade BABA, but this is another one that you can also take a look at. I'm putting next to MP here on this one. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Peter.
we're a little bit in the calm before the storm. If you've got my screen there, I've got the weekly earnings calendar up. And, as you can see, there's a lot of earnings happening today, but nothing that we would typically trade. It really gets going later this week with a couple that we recognize tomorrow morning: SoFi, PayPal, UPS, right? Those are ones to take a look at. And then we move on. Wednesday is probably the big day, right? Before the market opened, we've got a few familiar names there with CVS and Boeing, Verizon also reporting, and then of course the big uns. Wednesday after the close, Meta, Microsoft, Google. Those are probably the main three, of course. But then there's lots of we got Starbucks, which can sometimes trade well, and Carvana and ServiceNow. So and then Thursday, of course, as you can see, we moved Amazon and Apple and a couple like that. So it should be, as the week progresses, we'll be getting into more interesting earnings, which will help the market move. So, or give us trading opportunities. Anyways, for now, again, pretty quiet Monday. Not a surprise. It's a fall sort of Monday. Usually, I actually like these days. These are some of my best trading days when I can just sort of watch the market overall, find the stocks that just are getting that momentum midday and take advantage of those without the interference of all sorts of the weird external factors, just the unexpected quotients in the market. So we'll see. All of this could change, of course, with just one announcement out of the White House or some other international or global event occurring.
Yeah, absolutely, friends. All right, so let's continue. See what you guys have. Somebody mentioned Lululemon too. They got a nice gap up here, 5.5 this morning, 203,000 shares traded. They normally don't get great volume pre-market unless it's some kind of big significant event. I don't know what's driving to them. I'm not sure if there's any news. I did ask whoever suggested this in chat if they're aware of anything. Yeah, they got a nice little pop up this morning. So there's Lululemon on that. As far as trading it, I'm not a huge fan of
I think
the ticker itself, but it's up today.
Brian and Andrew went shopping this weekend. I think that's what's popping
It
Lululemon
could
up.
be. It could be. Oh,
Uh,
deal with the NFL. Oh, that's nice. They did that. That's nice. A little late in the season, though. Got to do that early. But okay, partnership with NFL. That could be good. Um. All right, so there it is. Maybe worth
Partnership
watching a
with the
secondary.
NFL. Yeah, you're right. So there's an NFL partnership launching 32 team apparel collection. So, all right.
All right,
So
so
I don't know what that looks like exactly. What exactly are they going to be wearing?
I don't know, but it looks like your players might have new spandex they'll be rocking for our teams here on the field. So who knows? But yeah, what does that exactly mean, right? It's a good point.
I
But
don't know. It
obviously,
just they've partnered. Lululemon has partnered with the NFL and Fanatics around a new collection releasing apparel and accessories with logos of all 32 teams. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, look, we know that NFL merchandise, is always a good boost for any brand. But what I don't know, Lululemon, I just don't associate that with the NFL crowd.
At all. You know
So,
what? It's so funny.
but
We're not supposed to like and not stereotype is not the right word, but
well,
categorize,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
categorize marketing people, whether they like it or not, they have to do this. They have to look at a certain person and say, okay, this category of people will do this, these people won't do that. The people that wear this are usually people that don't want to have any logos and they don't want to have a big giant stain across their butt on their Lululemon pants. I just don't see that happening. So I don't know. I don't know how well that's gonna do. You may bring up a
yeah.
good point, Peter.
The Lo Aki, CEO of Fanatics Commerce, says historically, sports industry is overserved fans with categories like t-shirts and hoodies, but now there's a real demand and appetite for truly premium. The jersey is truly the uniform of sport, but we think there's a role for a lot of other apparel as well. That, I mean, they're making a big bet here that I just can't picture, I can't picture the bro wearing the branded yoga pants or
Yeah,
the
that's it.
the traditional Lululemon tight shirt, or I don't know. It just, what else are they gonna go with? Socks, gloves? I don't know. Hats have already
Yeah,
been done. What, I don't know. It's I,
yeah.
good luck. Good luck,
Good, good,
Lululemon.
good luck. Good luck. All right, let's see here. What else, friends? What else? My list is very light. I need some stuff on here. What else you guys got for me? So I'm looking at both chats now, and seeing what tickers you guys like. While we do that, I am going to be
I
adding
can see.
obviously Tesla to the list. Yeah.
He says He says I could totally see Tom Brady wearing them. Like, I mean, sure, Tom Brady could wear them, but it's sort of like, like what is one of the things that is, truly unique to football? The tight pants. People have been talking about those tight pants that, football players have worn for decades now. I don't see fans wearing those around in the streets. That,
Yeah.
they haven't caught on yet. I'm not sure Lululemon's going to change that. But
No.
anyways, maybe I'm wrong.
Do they make cycling gear? It's the only time I wear tight pants is cycling. Do they make cycling gear,
Yeah,
Lululemon? They do. Okay. They
that's a
do
good
like
question. I don't know.
The Castelli bits. What I usually get. They got. Do they
You
do
think
that?
you would think that would sort of make sense, but I honestly I'm not sure.
Never looked them up. They never come up on that. But if they do that, that could be a place. Um, Someone mentioned Oklo. Oklo, you know what? Oklo's been very active, and since the price dropped here, like below 150 for some reason, it has been trading much, much better. So we've been looking at the price action here, which is wild. But below 150, it's like, I don't know, they trade a little bit less volatile. The spread's a little bit better. It's not great, but you do see a difference when they're hanging out up here near the 180, 200 mark. So I might watch it today. I do like what I'm seeing here. We're up 5.3, 580. Is it my best go-to? No, I think I have a lot of possibles today. Oakland's a big, big possible. I will definitely be looking at it, but it won't be my go-to as it is like a Tesla, and of course like an Nvidia, like a POTR. Look at Nvidia here, up 2.2, 4.7 million shares traded, doing pretty nice this morning with volume and the gap up. AMD has been trading very well, and their daily also looks awesome. So we're up here 2.4 with 2 million shares traded. I mean, it is just going to be usual suspects list for me, friends. So AMD, and I'm adding Nvidia as well here. Amazon's another one you guys like a lot. So let's take a look at Amazon today. Amazon also breaking out up 1.8. Almost a million shares traded. That's pretty good for pre-market for Amazon. They normally don't get that much volume pre-market, but today they're rocking. Again, as market's hitting all-time highs, a lot of these tickers are doing well. Did we look at PLTR yet? We did not. You did mention it, Peter. It is up 2.4 here, 1.2. I do like you mentioned, the possible breakout on the daily. So that could be interesting. I'll add it here. I got way too many today. Yeah, what else, friends? Meta. See people mentioning Meta. Meta this morning. We're up 2. Oh, hold on. That's not Meta. This is Meta. We're up 1.5, 221,000 shares traded, which shouldn't scare you too much. Meta normally doesn't get great volume pre-market. and they can put in a good day. Out of all the tickers, Max Sevens, this is not my go-to. So I won't be having it on deck. Peter, what's your thoughts on Meta? Will you be watching it today? Do you like trading it? What's your take?
No, I usually avoid Meta. It's one of those that rarely performs well for me when I look at the price action. It doesn't move in a way that I can take advantage of. So,
Yeah,
and I don't
yeah,
see. I mean, it's on the rare days where it's got really big news that sometimes it can move nice, but I rarely pay attention to it. So. I'm trying to, I mean, and it's also hard to figure out when I mean, unless there's really, really big news, because Meta has like dozens of articles every single day on it, right? Because they're always doing something. But none of it is really sort of stock moving type announcements.
yeah, yeah. JC Trader. JC Trader says, I love cycling naked. I guess that's not as
Ooh,
aerodynamic as you'd think it would be. And I feel very sorry for the friends behind you that are that are
that would
drafting behind you.
there would be a lot of chafing going on.
There'll be a lot of stuff hanging out. That's not aerodynamic, man. You
Yeah.
need everything nice and
Uh,
tight to just
that
tuck
sounds
on in and
extremely uncomfortable.
yeah. All right, friends. You might take some weight off, but yeah, that way it's not gonna pay off as good. All right, friends. BABA, Tesla, AMD, Nvidia, PLTR, and I think today, Peter, is one of those days where we're gonna sit and watch what's moving. I mean, we have Quantum on here, we have Oklo, all our favorite tickers that we love to trade. Market sitting all-time highs on both Nasdaq and the SPY. So I think it's one of those wait and see type days, right? Jeff's traded on YouTube, got his list there, Hood of Oklo, Tesla, AMD. Again, just a bunch of usual suspects. So that makes perfect sense. And I'm looking forward to see what our moderators are going to have as far as chats go. Peter, today's a great day for a rant. So if you have one queued up, today is perfect because this is what I have. Look at Mike's already ready with his list. He has Nvidia and scanners, and that makes perfect sense, right? It's just one of those days where we'll sit and see what's taking place here. Um,
I don't
ADP.
really have a rant.
It's
No.
early in the week, right? Nobody has upset you yet. We gotta wait
Yeah.
until we get
I
like a little later in middle Wednesday, right? Completely get
Yeah.
that.
We we although just not really a rant, but maybe an observation I could share. So yes, Saturday we had a dishwasher delivered, and it was quite entertaining. And only that the like we don't our street isn't that big or long, and I'm right on the corner. So when you turn onto the street, I'm like the very first house. And we watched the dishwasher delivery truck, and I don't know who these guys are. I'm not sure if it was their first day on the job. One of them looked like it was his first day on the job, but these guys, man, you know the Follies Foibles or whatever that song. They're like I felt I had that playing in my head as I was watching them because they literally drove past my house, three houses down. Get out and open the truck, and then we're like, I think that's our delivery truck, but it's like two houses down. And then they realized, and then the guy started to back the truck up, but they didn't close the door, and one of the appliances almost fell out on the guy that was standing behind the truck. And then they stopped, and the thing rocked precipitously, and they closed the door and backed up another house. And then, like, they never actually got in front of my driveway. They ended up stopping literally in the middle of the road, half a house down from me. Get out
Oh
and
my
yeah, I'm
goodness.
watching these guys. I'm like, what? Thank God you're only delivering a dishwasher. If you're delivering any like larger appliances, I'd be like terribly nervous. This is just very strange. It was quite entertaining for my wife and I, but
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Oh," I said, "Well, you're taking the old one away?" "No, no, no. We don't have it on our work order. We're not taking the old one." And I'm like, "Well, the guy said, well, you bought it online. What guy?" I said, "I didn't buy it online. I talked to, the sales guy." And he said, "Tell you what, I'll just give Sam a call." And he's like, "No, fine. We'll take it." I'm like, "All
Yeah.
right."
Yeah. Way to do it.
You know,
Oh man.
Nick,
That's
I don't know if it works. It's sitting in the middle of my I had to they didn't do install. Thank God. I don't think I want those guys installing it,
no,
but
no, no, no.
so they, but
Hell no.
they said they partner with a local company that does install, so that's supposed to be happening today. And I looked at it like I unhooked the other one pretty easily. I'm thinking I could hook this one up, but you know what? Just to make sure, I want it balanced. I don't want leaks. I'll pay the money for a professional to come in and hook it up, and hopefully he'll be more competent than the delivery guys. But anyways, it was quite entertaining.
And you want to make sure they hook up the Wi-Fi so you can get notified when your washer is done. So you want to make sure that all that's hooked on in. But yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about you this weekend. I'm like, as I was doing the laundry, my laundry machine, I never noticed it. It does have the Wi-Fi logo on it on my washer.
Oh yeah.
My laundry washer. I'm just like, why would I need that? If I'm turning it on, I'm turning it on. Like I don't know why would I need it. So I never try to connect to it. So I don't know what it does. It's an old machine, and it has the Wi-Fi thing on it. So I'm gonna try to connect this weekend and see
Maybe you
what
should see. Yeah.
see what it does.
Maybe it's been eager for conversation. It's been waiting for you to talk to it, Carlos, for years now.
Oh man. Oh, I tell you, it's crazy. Um, a ticker here, guys. KDP. Someone mentioned this. They had earnings. Keurig Dr. Pepper. What name is this? Dr. Pepper, like the soda. I thought they were
Yeah.
partnered up with like
Yeah.
they're not partnered up with like Pepsi or Coca-Cola. They got their own thing.
No. No.
Oh, okay.
They bought. I can't remember if Keurig bought them or I think Dr. Pepper bought Keurig. I can't remember, but it
So this
seems
is
like an
the
odd
the
combination, doesn't it?
coffee
Yeah, the
cups.
little
Right?
coffee pod
Oh, wow,
things.
it's a very odd combination. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, did not
So
know
they had
that.
earnings. I mean, this is not one we normally watch, but yes, they had earnings. They beat their numbers and raised their guidance for the full year. So, as odd as we may think the business is, apparently business is good for Dr. Pepper and Keurig. Dr. Pepper is one of those. To me, that's got to be an American taste bud thing. I have never enjoyed Dr. Pepper. I know that's
What?
blasphemy to some people.
It is blast. I like that. I like a little Dr. Pepper here and there.
See, I don't, and you don't really find it anywhere outside of the US. It's only, I mean, I'm sure they sell it somewhere else, but
Yeah.
not really. It's so sweet and it's got a weird taste. It's like Coca-Cola that's gone off. But I also don't drink coffee, so don't trust my taste buds, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh,
But it's got to
but
be done right. Like if you go to any of these restaurants and you ask for a Dr. Pepper and they got the machine, if they don't got the right mixture, man, it tastes like medicine. Like it's so bad. Because I had a few places like, oh, I'll have a Dr. Pepper. And so if I can't have a beer because I'm whatever time of the day is, I'm just not ready for one. I'll get a Dr. Pepper. And if they mess that up, man, it is the worst thing you can ever have. It is so bad. But yeah, I like it.
All right. Well, but they've got news today. Anyways, apparently they've also, raised billions in private equity from two different companies. KKR and Apollo have both invested in Keurig Dr. Pepper. So, there's good business there. At least some people think so. They're willing to put a few $1 billion behind it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Oh, so the clocks in the UK went back this weekend? Oh,
What?
I thought we
Oh,
were the only one
did
that
they?
did that nonsense.
No.
You guys do that too?
Huh,
Yeah.
funny. I was talking to my son this weekend. He didn't mention that, but
Okay. I thought we
was
were the only one doing that nonsense. Wow, but there it is. So some people are. So you guys are early or late today? I could tell by the viewership. Let's see. Um. Oh, how's it like so far? The likes are 105. We're kind of right on track in the UK. A lot of people from the UK here. All right. All right, Peter, let's do this. My list, again, usual suspects, and I can't wait to see what the moderators have in just a second here. But let's head over to our bearwithtraders.com and show you guys what's happening for today. So head over on Bear with Traders if I can find the link right over here. And you guys can click on, am I sharing? I'm not sharing my screen, am I? Hold on, give me a second. Got to turn on this. So many buttons you got to hit. It's another button to turn this on. It's like a button here. There it is. That button is not working.
All right.
And
Here we go.
webinars Monday. Here we go.
Monday, indeed. Actually, we have some interesting stuff happening this Monday. We have our usual onboarding class that happens at 8 o'clock tonight that Carlos leads. If you're new in the community or just want to get yourself better oriented with what you can take advantage of as part of your Bear Bull Trading membership, then you want to join Carlos tonight at 8 o'clock. That's in the onboarding room. So it's for everyone, all class and membership. Everybody can join that. At noon today, we have our order map or Atlas session with Nathan. He's going to talk about how you can take advantage of that and leverage Atlas to improve your trading. We've been talking about it a lot here in the room as Carlos and I are getting more familiar with it and the value it can bring. Still working and incorporating it into my trading, but I love it. It does give me some good visibility to where the orders are sitting. So it's worth attending that at noon. And then here, right here on YouTube, we do have a special guest that's coming on 10:30. We're going to have Andrew and Spot Gamma. Spot Gamma's got some interesting market tools. They're going to talk about those tools and how you can leverage them. So stay tuned right here. I assume that we'll be broadcasting that into the chat room as well. So on YouTube and in the chat room, you'll be able to get advantage of, I think it's Brent from Spot Gamma that's going to be joining us this morning. So that should be a good session. If you want to join us in the chat room all day, every day, then consider a membership. Go to bearabletraders.com and you can look at the different membership options from the intro through to the elite annual, and you can pick the one that makes the most sense for you. Why don't we set some levels, Carlos, and let's give our moderators some time because they're a little slow this morning. It seems like everybody's a little slow off the jump. Let them get their lists in. They're probably still trying to figure out what to trade because we haven't really
so.
like. I mean, our gappers list has got the usual, but not much going on there. So, but they'll get their lists in, and I can let you know about it.
Yep, absolutely. One more thing to announce here, guys. We are going to be giving away. So Andrew over the weekend sent me a list of codes. So we're going to be giving away for our Lambos and Garbage Truck members on YouTube. He's going to be giving away a free funded account. So free funded account. He's going to be giving that away. So if you are interested, sign up. Lambos and Garbage Truck members will give that away. We'll also give out 5 ebooks as well today, and we'll do that very early because since 10:30 we're going live with Spot Gamma. We'll do that well before that. So maybe we'll do one in a few minutes here. That's where you can join. Head over to bearabletraders.com/YouTube/join. I think it is something like that, and you can sign right up. All right, friends, let's do it. So here it is. First one for me is going to be, if I take this out of the way, here it is, BABA. So let's look at BABA today. Got a couple of Chinese tickers that are moving up this morning. I like to trade BABA when it's in play. I have not traded it in a very long time, but today I will be keeping an eye on it. 179.97 is the high of the pre-market. Towards the bottom, you do have over here the highs and lows for the last 2 trading days, so that's looking good. So just worry about the top part here. I'm going to get another level at 182.09 and the low of the pre-market at 178.39. Once you do that, I don't think you need to worry about anything else when it comes to BABA. So pretty straightforward there. Next one on the list is going to be Tesla. So look at Tesla here. Meta Lu Raj, and I know that's not your name. I know that's the code because we're still in code mode, Peter, on YouTube. Still in cold mode here.
Are we?
We are. David Jordan, welcome to the Lambos and Garbage Truck family, my friends. So welcome, guys. Good to have you. Yeah, YouTube. See, even YouTube sometimes messes up here and does things wrong here. So I don't know what's going on. But yeah, thank you guys. Welcome. Good to have you. I would like a free funded account. Well, sign up and hope you win. Suzanne. There you go. And it's easy to win because not a lot of Lambos and Garbage Truck members, so the winning ratio is pretty high. Here's Tesla. Tesla high of the pre-market again, going with usual suspects today. 441.30. The low of the pre-market down over at 438.13. Then you're surrounded by the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. So there it is. Don't need to really add much on Tesla, like you said, Peter. This thing's just kind of stuck within this big range ever since middle of September. It's just, it's been above and below it, but this area here really likes this 440-ish area. Seems to always come back there somehow. So that's Tesla. Next on the list is our good buddy AMD, which has been really nice, really, really nice. Yeah, Friday gave us a really great trading day here. We're gapping up 2.5 today, 262. 42 is the high of the pre-market. The low is down over at 256.80. And then once you do that, you're pretty much set because I believe we're all-time high. Let me not misspeak, but I think we're all-time highs now, right? Yeah, we've been. Are we? Oh yeah, wow, we are really all-time highs here. So yeah, AMD all-time highs. Nothing above that pre-market high at the moment. Tons of stuff towards the bottom there. Adam, welcome to the Lambos and Garbage Truck, my friend. Good to have you. So good to see you there. Next on the list is Nvidia. Nvidia also, it's okay. AMD has been actually much better as far as the clean breakouts. So I do have Nvidia here still. Nvidia 191.16 is the high of the pre-market. The low is hanging down at 188.13. So that's good. Then above that, we do have 195.52 on the daily. Got a nice, beautiful daily all the way up there. And then towards the bottom, highs and lows for the last 2 trading days, previous day close. And here is PLTR, last but not least. PLTR, we have not been trading it as much. I mean, there's been more choppy days than a lot of cleaner days, right? There's been a few, but a lot more choppy days, right? But now we seem to be breaking out, or at least trying to break out of this daily range. I have the pre-market 189.70. The low, we're going to label it at a 187.22. And this might be, we're all-time high territory here, friends. Let's see here. So we had our all-time high previously over in August. This would have been either August 12 or August 13, one of these 2 days right on here. So we're testing that today, and actually we might actually be above that today if there wasn't no pre-market action here on these 2 days, right? So we're right there, nearing all-time highs, looking pretty good on the PLTR this morning. Plenty of levels to look at here. Wow, you guys, everybody wants to fund that account. Look at this. Noel, congratulations. Welcome to the Lambos and Garbage Truck family. We'll definitely get that done for you guys a little bit later. And I'm looking forward to it. Speaking of my funded account, I know Andrew said he's gonna give me the check. I'm not gonna cash it. But I want my check. I am up. I just want the big check. I want the picture with the big check. And I want to have you and him next to me. I want you guys to present it to me. Present it to me in the next meetup. Just give me the check and take a couple of pictures. I'll take it home. I won't cash it, but it'll be fun. I'm up 6,000. 6,000 right now on my funded account. So there it is. It's a great tool, guys. So definitely check it out. Head over to tradingterminal.com. So we'll keep trading on that. And I'm doing the trades with you guys live here. Like I'm doing it with you. I'm not taking trades unless we do it together on YouTube. And I am trying to take just real trades, like real opportunities, not just mess around and just be gambling, right? Which is what you should do as well. Do not gamble on this thing because you will lose. You will definitely lose. All right, Peter, anything else? We're early. Anything else you got going on? Any other tickers you like?
No tickers that we haven't talked about. I'm really got to wait and see what the market's going to bring today. I think that anything could go. Well, we could really get anything moving. So right now I'm going to stick, like you said, to the usuals. I always like to go back to AMD and Nvidia, Tesla. Those are probably my top 3, as I said, and then the secondary ones like the PLTRs and some of the others. Apple, maybe, we'll keep an eye on them. But for the most part, I'm just going to watch the market. I don't have anything, queued up for the open. We'll see where all this goes. So.
I hope it's not a choppy day.
Because
I hope we get something good out of the gates here. Well, you said for this is one of your favorite days, you said.
It is, because usually when there's no news, that means things can just be free to move on their own. That being said, I mean, we do have, of course, the specter of potential big news happening, right? And that happens in these types of days where, for example, we do have it's supposed to be a meeting between Trump and President Xi. And whether that happens or not, who knows? But that international trade news could come and have some impact. Here, in Canada, there could be more news on the trade war, which has been fascinating, by the way, over the last 3 or 4 days. I don't know if you're aware, the Ontario government produced some ads that they were airing in the U.S. That got President Trump frustrated, we'll say, and. It's been interesting. The Reagan ad, yeah, exactly. So
the Reagan ad. How do Canadians feel about that? Are you like for that? You're against that? Well, what's your thoughts on that?
The thing is that look, here would be my assessment of Canadian. We could care less about the ad. We're just fascinated by the by the White House response, really, at the end of the day. So, and it feels like at this point, as a Canadian, I can just say that we sort of are in this general mode where we're like, there it's like watching, a friend who, a good friend of yours who she just got a boyfriend, and you're like, I'm not sure, man. And we're just not sure. And and so you're not upset at the girlfriend, but you just wish that that maybe you could help convince them of your perspective. So, anyways, to be gentle. Yeah, like I'm trying not to be political here because it gets some people very angry, but it's just fascinating. So, anyways, we'll keep watching. We've just gotta, you know, live our lives here, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I do hope that we get some certainty as to where the global economy is going, because it feels like we've been in a holding pattern for quite a while on that. The U.S. economy, though, generally is amazing, isn't it? As it keeps chugging higher, like we keep saying. So I
Hmm.
I I don't know, how far can we go, right? Like it just keeps going.
It's yeah, it's I guess it's hoping for real good news coming out of China, right? That's the biggest story today. Aside from the earnings that we got coming up this week, which again I think I forget the number, but we mentioned it last quarter. I forget the percentage of value in company that are reporting this week. It's like massive, right? Because you got what Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft. I mean, out of the max sevens, you have like what four or five. I mean, it's massive, right? So that'll be the big story later down the week, Thursday and Wednesday, which we'll try to go live for. Maybe the market's expecting some good news out of China with these trade talks, right? That would really get things going here. So let's see. All right, friends, we are ready to go here. So Andrew and Brian will be up next in chat. If you want to see those guys trade lives, you can always head over to bearwithtraders.com. We got a special for you. It's a link here that gets you in for $19, right? $19 gets you in for a whole week, so you can see those guys trade live, and they're on pretty much all day long here. So no tariff on everything is the way. No tariff on some people believe that. Yeah, some people believe no tariffs on everything is the way. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I,
I don't know what's the way. I'm not sure.
no,
I'm not sure.
and there have been tariffs between countries forever. Like it's not new,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there have been a lot of existing tariffs. I think it's the way they're being wielded, which is, again, I can only speak from a Canadian point of view. But generally, we're like, you know what? Bring it on. Whatever you want a tariff, that's okay. But it does drive us to do things differently. And I frankly, I don't mind partnering more with Europe. I certainly don't want to be partnering too much with the Asia Pacific Rim, but at the same time, hey, if sometimes sometimes
It's
if your
like the
best friend is being that way, you just gotta you gotta sometimes give them their space. And
yeah.
that's what we're trying to do.
It's like well, I forgot who, man. It was Mark. I think Mark Cuban, one of these CEOs, or Mr. Wonderful. Somebody said it. He's like, listen, we have no choice but to partner up with China. We want to buy iPhones, not have to build them because we can't afford them here in the U.S. Right? So I forgot who mentioned that, but it was so funny, and it's true. Like if you don't bring stuff from China, you're gonna be paying, a lot, and I think Americans are not ready to pay a lot. So. So you got to find a happy medium, and that's usually not easy. All right, friends. We are all set. I see Andrew in chat. Good morning, Andrew, to you. And we have some more Lambos and Garbage Truck members. We have Alvin. Thank you for joining here. So Alvin is on deck. I'm sorry, but AMOC5C Z sounds like a
Wow.
very high performance mechanical oil, but I know that's just your username and not. It sounds like something you'll buy on an Audi
There
that's
you
on the
go.
track, like a Audi 8 or something. But welcome, Anan, welcome as well. Man, many Lambos and Garbage Truck members today. So really appreciate you guys. We'll be giving away a free funded account today, and we'll do that pretty soon around 10:30 or so before we go live with Spot Gamma. All right, guys. Anything else, Peter? I think we're set,
I
right?
don't.
Our
Yeah, I don't
team.
think so. It's time to get ready for this open. Let's get everything queued up. I think our moderators are slow. We do need to talk about our moderators list because they're finally starting to get them in here. And the lists, as you could imagine, are a little tighter than they have been in the past. Megan, for example, all she's watching is Hood. That's it. Robin Hood apparently is her target for today. So I hope that pans out for her. Andrew, who will be trading live, is trading PLTR, Nvidia, Tesla, KDP, the Keurig Dr. Pepper. He's going to be looking at that. And MAD? I think he means AMD. AMD. Okay, yes, he does mean AMD. Of course, he could be mad based on my previous conversation. So, and then Brian is going to be looking at AMD, PLTR, Tesla, CRML. CRML. That's another one that Carlos, did we look at that? That doesn't sound familiar at all. Critical
We
metals.
did. We did. Some of the
Okay.
metals
Critical
are also
metals.
down. Yeah.
And BABA. So was a bunch of familiar ones on that. I've got my watch list in there. And then Mike was very first in this morning. He's going to be taking a look at Nvidia and watching the scanners as he usually does. So whatever you pick, just trade smart. Be judicious this morning. I think we're going to see some good moves. I just don't know exactly where they're going to happen, and they may not be where you expect. That's my feel for this morning, because I can't help looking at some of these, again, the Qs and the SPY, and we're just, it seems too good to be true, trending higher without any news. Yeah, just wait and see what happens.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. All right, friends, we'll leave you with Brian and Andrew, who are ready to go here. They got their list ready. I see Brian's list a little bit long today. Got a lot there.
And like,
I like that he has BABA on there, because I got BABA too, so that's good. Not the
oh,
only one
there you
watching
go.
that.
Like you wanted.
Good. Got a partner in crime.
Just
And
one more reminder. Don't
yeah,
forget, we got our special guest. Andrew's going to be hosting Spot Gamma, who will be on here. So we'll be back in the chat room an hour after the open with you and our friends at Spot Gamma. So everybody, get ready for that. It's always good to have special guests on here, get a perspective of how their tools can help enhance your trading activities. So.
yep, absolutely. One more welcome here to T Sharing, a new member of the Lambos and Garbage Truck
So
family.
many. Yeah.
Yeah, and any thoughts on Netflix? Netflix is a tough one. Netflix is a tough.
It's a tough stock to trade, isn't it?
It is, man. I wish they would trade better, but they're difficult. Let's see here. Let's see. We'll stick around and chat until Andrew logs on. When he logs on, I'll hop off. But here's Netflix. Just the lack of volume, man. 122,000 shares traded right now. Just the lack of volume. It's a tough trader. So last couple of days not doing so good. Look at that.
Well, no, not the last couple of days. But I thought you might like this news since we're talking about Netflix, Carlos. Over the weekend, Netflix released some new viewing numbers, and apparently their most viewed movie ever, I'm sure you can guess, ever.
K-pop demon.
They K-pop Demon Hunters.
100%. Yeah.
So, and I don't know how they count the views. Is it unique views, or because you know what happens, right? Like, back in the day when Frozen was big, kids would watch it over and over and over again. So I'm not sure, if you're doing it on DVD, that's one thing. If everybody's just continually streaming K-pop Demon Hunters, then does each one of those count as a view, or do you only get sort of one count per
So they
household? I don't
they
know.
actually track a couple of things. They track hours viewed, right? Because you might not watch the whole thing. So they do track that. And it was not in first place for a while because the movie's only an hour, right? Some movies are 2 hours, right? So it didn't get that title right away, but now it has. Now it has both. It has most views and most hours watched. So they do track both on
Okay,
Netflix. So
there you go.
it's crazy, and it's back on the Billboard 100 again. Even Taylor Swift can knock this thing down, man. It is just unbelievable what it has done. All right, I see our good
Well,
buddy
and
Brian. Go ahead.
Yeah, last week we were announcing all the deals everybody wants in, right? On the toys and everything. Mattel and
Yeah,
Hasbro all launching toy lines. So everyone wants to get on the merch.
absolutely, absolutely. Talk about going viral. All right, friends, we'll leave Brian here and Andrew to do their thing. Good morning, Brian. All right, Brian is there, and we'll
All right,
continue. I think Brian might be on mute. Somebody tell him he's on mute. I
Brian.
see him talking.
He's not on the microphone. He's
Now
got to
he
get
is.
there. He is
Okay,
now. He's
he's got
figured
it
it
now.
out over
All
there.
right,
Okay, yeah,
very
we're gonna
good.
get ourselves going here. Headphones.
All right, friends.
Okay.
All right, guys. Yeah. So Netflix. That's the deal with Netflix. Very tough to trade. We got our 1 minute. I got my Atlas. Let me do this. Then we'll be ready for Spot Gamma in just a few minutes here. About an hour. All right. Anyone trading Rigetti? Let's take a look at Rigetti. Rigetti actually looks in play, man. 2.3 million shares traded. We are up 2%. Was up higher, up to 40, losing some ground down to 39. So, you know, this, I got to say, me and Peter have looked at Rigetti throughout the trading day, and it does move. And I haven't really found a way to trade it. So, not saying the stock is not trading well. I just haven't had the opportunity to take advantage of it here. So, I'll put it on a secondary for right now. I don't have no popcorn tickers. I know Thor was asking me earlier if I had any popcorn tickers, but I don't have any today. No popcorn tickers this morning. And yeah, and we have books to give away too. We'll do books today as well. Audio books. Kick off the week right. All right, friends, if you haven't done so already, as we're less than 5 minutes or 4 minutes almost to the market open, hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. It does help us out a ton to grow our channel and just make sure we're doing the right thing and heading in the right direction here. So 223 likes so far. If we get to 400, that is usually our goal. Do you think QUBT looks good, or QUBT? I know they're in play today. Rigetti looks better though. Rigetti looks much better for me personally. So I had a Rigetti. Seems to be a little bit more active in the pre-market, but this one can also trade well. QBTS. What's the other one? IonQ. Yeah, pick your favorite quantum ticker. But when I look at Rigetti, it's just it seems like it can move better. It has a lot of volume, 2.4 million. Yeah, I prefer this one. But you can't go wrong with any of the other ones. We definitely watched those before and got an opportunity. So pick your favorite here. All right, Tesla is doing some stuff. Apple getting complaints for their tablet. They're overheating. Their new tablet's overheating. Their tablet Pro.
The Apple tablet,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. The new
I
one, I
didn't hear
guess,
that.
is like overheating.
Oh wow. Okay, that's a problem.
Yeah, I have a Pro. I mean, it doesn't. I never felt it's not a new one, but I never felt it overheating. So
Well, it's a good thing.
yeah, yeah. Faizan, short. I don't know what short on what. We'll have to see. Um,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
Everything's
know. It's
slowed down heading into the open here.
yeah.
I'm not sure what to expect.
Will be interesting. Look at this. Harman Han wants to have a conversation with me. I'm sure you do.
Who?
Harman Han.
Okay. Okay. Oh.
This is me.
Wow.
We have been in conversation before. No, we have not. I don't know you. Block user,
Yeah.
please. Report spam.
I'm
I don't
sure
know how.
she'd love to get to know your money.
Absolutely. That's probably some kid in India, and I'm nothing against India, but that's usually where these things come from overseas, right? Trying to get my data. All right, 100% legit, says Thomas. I'm sure. Pick her up. She must be stranded. Oh man, it's wild. But all jokes aside, you gotta talk to your kids about this. Like my daughter just turned 12, and you know she doesn't have access to any of these messaging. I keep track everything locked down, whatever. But you gotta let them know. Listen, you know, be careful. Be careful. There's some crazy stuff out there, right? You don't want to get caught in a situation where you're regretting. So, gotta talk to your kids about all this crap. All right, Apple. Yes, capital protection is key. That's what I'm trying to do on my funded account as well. Protect the capital. You are regretting.
And
All right, 20 seconds.
yeah, I don't know
I
what's
don't
gonna
know.
move
I
when
don't
the
know what
bell
to look
rings.
at. I don't know what to like
Yeah,
have
me
front and
neither.
center here. So we got Tesla, AMD.
Maybe a pop up on Nvidia and then a sell off. I don't know. Here's the bell.
We'll see.
Let's see. Whoa, whoa.
Okay.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Come on, Nvidia. Pop up. Oh.
Wow. Look at AMD's drop here. Pretty nice right now.
Hmm.
Uh, so
I've got to get I've got to get Atlas going. Forgot to do
yeah,
that.
got it going here for Tesla.
Nvidia. Oh, what is Nvidia's got the top side orders. AMD.
Uh,
I don't know. Ugh.
NC Trader, did you take AMD short? That's yes, AMD's gone, man. That is
Yeah.
beautiful short. If he was able to catch it.
Hard to catch that, but
Tesla is trading a little, I don't know, a little messy, and even the Atlas looks a little messy as well. Like it doesn't seem all that clean.
yeah.
Look at that. It seems a little bit choppier than I would like. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna leave Tesla alone for now. POTR. Oh, beautiful engulfing here. A fallen angel on POTR. Uh, I don't know if the setup was that. I'm not sure to be honest. I don't think so, given the pre-market action here. Nvidia back above the VWAP. Could be a nice,
Mm.
nice 5 minute RV if we can stay above the VWAP. But we still got some time to go here.
Yeah.
What do you guys see? Apple. Let's take a look. Apple. Wow, yeah, 1.4 right now. Very nice. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm gonna wait
Uh,
my 5 minutes. Just gonna wait.
yeah, I don't
Just gonna
know
wait.
either. I'm watching Nvidia. I know Andrew's long Nvidia, but I keep looking at Nvidia for a short. I admit the Atlas, the order book is stronger to the top side. It just doesn't seem
Yeah.
like it wants to go up there. So
Oh,
I'm
look at
skeptical.
AMD. Wow, guys. If you're on AMD
Yeah.
short, you're rocking right now. So good for you. That looks pretty awesome there. Dum dum dum. Okay, okay.
Oh, there's a pop higher on Nvidia.
BABA so down. AMD's trying to hold here. Nvidia. I'm waiting for the 5 minute RB on Nvidia. If we can get a clean break, I'll take it. If not, it just looks a little bit messy for me right now to get in. But this looks great though. This kind of like engulfing on the off the pre market. That looks nice. But we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait our 5 minutes here and see what it can give us. If it can recover above the VWAP, towards that 5 minute mark, that's very strong. But right now, it's doing quite the opposite of that.
Yeah. I should have shorted the pops on Nvidia. I just was short bias on it. I can't tell you why exactly because the signals generally, I don't know, we're mixed. So, but it hasn't done anything. It's
Yeah.
still in this range here.
Nvidia, you're thinking
Wow,
short,
though.
Peter? On Nvidia, what are you
Look,
thinking?
I am, but I don't know why. Like I said,
Hmm.
the support metrics don't really line up with it. So that's why I'm not doing anything because I know I'm not aligned
Yeah.
with what the stock's doing. I mean, Nvidia hasn't broken out of this $190 price really. It's unlike AMD, which is down like $4, $5 almost. And Tesla came right back
I'm
down.
gonna go Nvidia short here. Um, I like this engulfing on the 5 minute. Didn't get the best entry, but I like a short here, Peter. I'm with you on this. I do like a short. Let's see if we can get the breakdown
Oh,
here. You got a nice
what's it?
engulfing too. So let's see. See if we can get something going here. And all right. I am short
I
as
don't,
well on the
I
funded
don't
account.
know. Nvidia's
It's tricky.
playing
Yeah, yes.
funny. Yeah.
It's tricky.
I don't like how it's sitting right here at this low that it set pre-market and right after the open. So that's a
Yeah. Let's
little
see if it.
worrisome.
Yeah.
If it breaks, you could get a good run, but it's got to break that.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. It's not trading pretty at all, though. It's very
No.
like it's not clean. I'll give this 40 cents, maybe nine, just up slightly above the VWAP, and I'll bail on it if it goes above the VWAP. But definitely not trading as clean as I would like here. Um, I'm getting ready to get out. 1930. Yeah, I'm out of it. I'm out of it. We'll see what it does here, and we'll check. Apple's coming back down. Oh man, did you just pick me off? Nvidia. I still like it short here. This is a better entry. You know what? I'm gonna give it another shot. I'm gonna go short again. Better entry, so my style will be a little bit higher now. Let's see if we can get the drop here on Nvidia.
Yeah. Well, I just don't know. Nvidia, I don't know.
It's messy, messy. It might I might just be stuck in Chapman now that I think about it. It's not really.
Yeah. I don't have that warm fuzzy feeling I have to get when I'm like this is, this is going to move.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I'm not in. I haven't taken any trades. I'm just watching. If it really drops, then I'll be upset. If it goes higher, then I'll be happy that I'm out. But one way or the
yeah,
other, I'm just
yeah.
watching. So,
All right, 1950 is my stop. We'll give it 40 cents again. Yeah, I don't know if it's not long, but it's definitely not short. It's not nothing right now. This is messy.
it's not nothing.
Not nothing. Yeah. So we're back below the VWAP. All right, let's see. Let's say it's got something else trading better than this. Um, Apple. What is Apple doing? Yes, that's the way it's trading, man. You see the way the spike's just coming up. Here's 950, so this will be my stop. We're just struggling. I like the way it sells down. I feel like buyers are not strong enough on this thing. I don't know. What does Atlas tell me here? 950. Yeah. I gotta get out. Like I feel like it's gonna come back, but I 950 feels like a sell up,
Yeah,
but
it
it's
could go
not what it's.
roaring higher. It's you know
Yeah,
it's
it
so
feels like the
choppy,
minute I get
Carlos.
out, if this feels tough right here. Tough situation. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna
Oh,
get
there you
out. The
go.
way it's
Yeah,
trading
you
is
gotta get
just
it. Oh, there you
thank,
go.
thank goodness. The way it's trading is so weird, man. And that's not like Nvidia. Really not. All right, let's see. Apple's the other one I have here on hand. Um, Apple below the VWAP. Uh, uh, let's see. Nope, nope. See if Apple pulls back, but I don't want to chase it. POTR, Nvidia, AMD. Wow, look at Tesla's nice. BABA is nice. Oh man, BABA was good actually, but it's not an entry
There,
now.
Nvidia got to 991.
Apple.
Tesla. My Ender's playing Tesla.
I don't see anything. Bob would have been the only other thing that I would have liked here for sure for 5 minutes, but that's gone already. We definitely missed our entry there.
Yeah.
Apple. I don't see what I like in Apple. Well, what do you like? You're shorting Apple, Mo. What do you like in Mohammed? What do you like in Apple? Because I have an idea of what I like, but I want to see what you like. And what did you go short Apple? Because I have an idea, but I'm just not sure. Um, AMD, Tesla, BABA, Nvidia. Rigetti. Oh, what
I
did
got
Rigetti do?
Rigetti's
Uh,
moving higher. Hood is also moving higher here this morning.
Hood. Oh man, look at Hood. Wow.
Intel? Let's see. Oh, Intel moved higher this morning. That's weird.
But they had that good news last week, right?
Yeah, they did have some. Didn't really move them that much last week.
Earnings, I think, right? But yeah, actually, they gapped up and sold off, so didn't really,
Yeah, on Friday, yeah.
yeah, didn't do much.
All right. Well, we got to give it a few minutes then. Like we sort of, well, I mean, at least I sort of anticipated. We've got a
Mm,
little bit of a choppy morning here, and I like these days because they give me good trading, but it doesn't mean, the open traders often don't like it because they don't always get the best. trades right at the opening bell. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit tough right now. I can't see anything that I love, like Nvidia. Just don't like the way it's trading. AMD, Tesla, Apple back above the VWAP. I'm glad I didn't go short. I was thinking short Apple, but again, just didn't really have a setup, so it's back above the VWAP here. And I don't want to take a VWAP breakout yet. Yeah, I don't want to take it. I see Apple. I like the way it's moving up, but I don't want to take a VWAP breakout yet without a retest. So we need some kind of retest to go.
yeah.
To go long here. But yeah, I like it. Let's hope. Come on. We need this. I need this candle to close. Hopefully, a good pullback, and then let's see what the next one gives us here. If this one just goes, then I won't be able to take it. My entry is going to be on the next candle if it sets up properly. AMD continues to drop. Nvidia, we'll keep an eye on that. Tesla, BABA. Man, this is garbage. I don't like anything. I thought we were gonna hit the ground. Actually, no, we did kind of call it. It was this weird day. And I just don't like nothing I see here.
We got Brian as short AMD in the chat room from the VWAP projection.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh,
beautiful,
man.
beautiful.
Sorry.
Here's Apple. All right, so we did get our bounce. Here's our candle. Not the prettiest thing, but this is a best risk to reward. Yeah, that's gonna go long Apple. Let's go long Apple. Let's see. Let's see if we can get going. Stop will be slightly below the VWAP, so 265.30, even 25. It's not that much that we're giving it. What we hope is that if it does go below the VWAP, that this thing here acts as support. Like hopefully buyers right in here come back in and keep pushing it higher. So let's see. Long for a VWAP breakout. I'm looking for hopefully 266.65, which is the high of the pre-market. But this might take a while. This might take a while because it's just the volumes. Yeah, like if it's gonna work, I can see this taking a long time. Hopefully not. But
hopefully not.
Hopefully not. If it even works. So let's see. We're gonna. Tesla short. No, not yet. Not for me. For me, not yet. For me, not yet. It's coming to the VWAP. This could be some support here, so it's gotta.
Yeah. Let's see where things are going.
Yep. Got the 20 moving average there as well, and the 9, which people like to buy off at. So I would just sit tight a little bit. So long AMD. I'm sorry, no. Long Apple. Excuse me, long Apple. Looking for the high of the day. Will Nvidia break high of the pre-market? It can. I mean, it seems very. What's the high of this 191, right? High of the pre-market? Yeah, it can definitely break that. Although right now it's looking pretty choppy and using that as resistance at the moment. So all right, come on, Apple. You can do it. Let's start off the week right.
You got this.
Yes. All right, I am also in on my funded account. Took the same trade here as well. So let's see if that goes. So guys, free funded account. You got to be Lambos and Garbage Truck member, and you have to have an active account with Trading Terminal, and then we're gonna give you a free funded account. So that's gonna be awesome. We'll do that today. Oh, we're getting a sell off here. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Is Apple gonna hold through this or what? Oh, good. It's trying. It's trying. Come on, Apple. Don't worry about the batteries heating up on the tablets. Let's just get up there to the high of the day. The fans are
Do it
still
for
gonna buy the
Carlos.
product.
Come
Yeah,
on.
the fans are still gonna buy the product. They don't care if the tablet's blowing up and all that stuff. They'll still buy it.
So while you were doing all this, I don't know if you heard, my phone has been ringing all morning. Some
No.
automated dialer trying to get a hold of me.
Oh
It's
boy.
I answered 3 times this morning, and finally, in the third time, a human comes on, and they were like, "It's one of those scams, Carlos. Every
They're getting
time,
good.
it's."
Yeah.
This one was,
They're
"Hey,
relentless.
yeah, I get the. It's a good time in Canada to call about your, heat your furnace, right? So this was
Of course.
we're calling from Canada Home Comfort, and before we reactivate your maintenance plan, we just wanted to confirm your personal details." And I'm like, "Nice try. I don't have a maintenance plan. See ya." So we'll see if they call back. But I want. I mean,
Yeah.
again, you do these assumptive closes. Hey, we just wanted to, let you know that your plan is going active again. Can you make sure to update your credit card information? And I'm sure people get, you know, fooled by that. Oh, especially if you have a maintenance plan from something else. They always use like these generic titles,
Right.
right, for
Right.
the name of the company. You know, home comfort,
I've been
home heating systems, whatever.
Yeah, I've been talking to my parents, right? Because they get the elderly a lot, right? So my
Yeah, oh
father's what
yeah.
70. He's still very coherent, good to go do their own stuff. Mama's younger, but I tell them, like, listen, don't do anything over the phone if they call you. You want to figure something out? Say, hey, even if it's dumb, I'll call you back. And get your
Yeah.
statement bill, and then call that 800 number and find out what they really need, right? So, because
Right.
they're getting just
Right.
so good. Um, and
And I
before I
and
used
I
to
get that,
I waste
right?
their time. Like before I used to waste their time. Like, oh yeah, like, oh, so what I have to buy this gift card, but it's not working. And I'd be on the phone. Like if they caught me on a commute to work at that time back in the days, I will waste 30 minutes. You could hear their frustration. It's like, but no, you have to do this. Like, but I'm doing it right now. It's not working. Hold on, give me a second. I gotta go use the restroom. I act like an older person, and they'll sit and wait. They'll sit and wait, and then
Oh
eventually,
my
I'll tell them
God.
like, "Hey, listen, man, I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you. I know it's a scam. You mother!" They'll get so pissed because I'll have them on the phone for like 30 minutes trying to buy gift cards, and,
Right.
and oh, but you can't even do that now because now they'll record your voice. You don't know what the hell they're gonna do with that,
Yeah.
so you can't even
That's
do
true.
that
I hadn't
now.
thought about
Gotta be,
that.
yeah, but they'll record your voice, and next thing you know, you're asking family and friends to send you money or some nonsense. So it's just scary, man. Scary what they could do nowadays. So, all right, Apple, let's go. Let's go on Apple. Slowly but surely getting up there. Play diarrhea noises for them. Oh yeah, it's wild, man.
Well, you and I, Carlos, are probably screwed anyways because if they really wanted AIR voice, they have ample
Oh
samples to take from these
yeah.
YouTube
Oh,
videos.
from these YouTube videos. Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So they could crate us
Plenty.
saying anything because we've probably said just about everything over the last couple
Oh
of years doing this. So
yeah.
by now, you know,
And they probably don't need that much. Right? They could just take
no.
uh one
Yeah,
show, just one
they
show, and they can, you know,
probably. Yeah.
get it down pretty good.
All right, Carlos, Apple.
I know, man.
Woo,
I'm
let's
I'm
go.
holding
Come
for the
on.
break. Uh, so I'm here. Let's see if it can continue here. So pull back as we push up towards the high of the day there. Come on, baby. We can do this. All right, so long app on the VWAP breakout. Not the prettiest VWAP breakout, but it's going. Taking his sweet time here. Nice. You took this one? Yeah, yeah. This is a good one here on Apple. Just don't know if we have the strength to push through. It seems very hesitant, so
Did you know that this is Bat Appreciation Week, Carlos?
like baseball bat, appreciate, or like bat like the animal.
No, like the flying
Flying thing.
rodent,
Batman.
flying
Okay.
things. It's Bat Appreciation Week,
That's very interesting.
apparently, according to my Windows platform here.
Mm. That is one ugly looking animal. Seen there's some people that are like they I guess they help them whatever in Florida. Usually people are in Florida when they do this. The crocodiles, they help the crocodiles and all this. And I'm like, man, what a job! And then you see them feeding them with like baby bottles. So they're feeding the bats, hanging upside down, and just weird stuff. Uh, I got a little later than you, so might get to my stop at break even here, but the majority of the move, you got the majority of the move you wanted. On which one, Mike? Which one are you in today? I know you were watching Nvidia and scanners this morning.
Come on, Apple. Do it.
Yeah, man, it's just
Looks
like
like you and Mike are both
struggling.
trading Apple, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I just asked him to make sure what he's on. He might be in Apple as well.
Yeah, I think so. Our GTI really had a good move up. It was looking weak pre-market, but it's roared higher
Yeah.
all morning. So did Hood. Lulu's been weak. Nvidia. Well, we were wrong about Nvidia. It never did get a drop. It didn't really go up much either, but it
Hmm.
looks a lot like the market overall. So, I mean, I'll just look at the SPY or the Q chart to see how choppy this morning has been.
Yeah, yeah. Has not been an easy morning. Um, Andrews long Tesla looking for the break towards the high of the day. Here's his trade right over here. So he's long Tesla. Um, and he's
Uh,
got his order up here,
I think it's
447, I
just,
assume. Very
yeah, his
nice.
third trade on Tesla. He's been taking it long all morning, so it's been working
Yeah,
for him.
yeah, it's working nice. Very nice. Um, yep. Uh, Nvidia super choppy. Apple hits the scanners a couple of times. Good break. Wants to go back above the V. Yeah, agree, Mike. Seems very hesitant right now, so we'll see. Let's take a look at Atlas. What do we have here? Oh,
Excuse
here's my
me.
trade. Here's my trade on Apple on my funded account. So I'm in here for the VR breakout, and we'll see if we can get going. So where's my? Here it is, Atlas.
Have you put a stop at break even, or are you just gonna let it ride?
On funded account. I
Yeah.
did not put a
Okay.
stop. No, I should. I should. Albert, welcome to the Lambos and Garbage Truck family, my friend. Good to have you. Um, in a second here, we're gonna give away some stuff for our Lambo friends. So this is Tesla. Here is, let me look at Apple actually. Let's take a look how Apple looks. Okay, come on Apple. Let's get rocking. So here's Apple and Atlas on tradingterminal.com. Let's wait to low. So there it is. Yeah, it does look bullish to me. It looks like we have some more at 280. I gotta make this a little bit better. What's the setting speed that you like here? You have 100
Uh,
or 250?
let's see. What do I normally use? I use 100. Update
Okay.
every 100 milliseconds. Aggregate for, well, I usually use at least 10 levels
Okay.
for aggregation because, I mean, it depends what you're watching. 10 levels is only 10-cent increments, so
Yeah. Yeah.
that's good. I mean, if you're watching a higher price stock, you can even go higher, but that's usually what I use. And then sensitivity, I usually put it up around 4.5.
Yeah. 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 I like that. Okay. Very good. And then we got the scroll here.
Yeah, I said I move it up just so I could see the color differentiation better.
Yeah. Yeah. Very
On
nice.
something,
Very
if you're
nice.
if you're doing this for Apple, I would probably put it at 10 levels because you don't want to aggregate too much because
Yeah.
it's just
Yep.
not like
It doesn't
AMD.
show.
You might
Yeah.
want to do 50-cent increments, but
Mm-hmm. Ho ho
here you go,
ho.
Apple,
All right, friends.
Apple,
Here we go.
Carlos.
Partial on Apple. Made us wait a little bit, but nicely paying off here. So partial on Apple. Let's go to our funded account. Where's our funded account? Right over here. And let's partial as well. Partial here on Apple. Very nice. Okay. Let's get going and let's see if we can get the break on Apple here. Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right, 267. Let's go. If we get 267, this will be a beautiful day. All right, 267. Um, so, all right, perfect. All right, we got our order there, 267, and we'll see if we can hit that in our account as well. So 267 will be awesome. Looks like Tesla wants 450. What is Tesla up to? I know Andrew's in the Tesla. Oh,
Yeah, it's at the
447.
high right now.
So he
Yeah,
definitely got filled. Yeah, there it is. He got filled at
he's
447.
he's got an
He's
order
got
sitting
a
at 448. Just waiting for
448.
that.
Very
Yep.
nice. Very nice. Very nice. Awesome trade. Awesome trade. All right, so Tesla's doing his thing there. Yeah, well, then I hope so. I hope so. I hope Apple can get going here. Again, when you're sitting on so much cash, it's easy to go through through tough times, right? And that's what Apple has in their favor. They got so much cash, man. Um, they can survive a lot of the stuff that they go through. So I didn't know this, but the Open AI people were like all Apple AI developers. I had no idea, and they all just left and
Oh,
just made Open AI. Yeah, yeah. So it was a bunch of like Apple software developers.
Okay.
So I had no idea. I should have hired those guys back at a very good salary.
Apparently. You still there, Carlos?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Oh, things went very quiet all of a sudden. So
Oh,
that's what happened in the chat room. I think that's why
I'm here.
Andrew came off the microphone in the chat room, I think. So
Mm. Why do I love Apple? The trade right now, my trade. Well, because it's green. No, I'm kidding.
well, that's a good reason.
That's why I love it right now. No, so the trade, as a company, I don't say I love the company. I love some of the stuff they do as far as marketing. I think they're geniuses, man. Whether I agree with the way they market people and try to take people's money, maybe not, right? It's not unethical. It's just good marketing, right? So I like some of the stuff they do as far as business wise, right? And again, they're doing something right. They're a great company, whether you like the products or not, whether you're a Microsoft or Google fan or not, and you hate Apple, you can't deny that they're doing something right. Obviously, right? So I think and I do like some products. Like I like their iPhone. I do like my Mac for personal use. My Mac is awesome. I love the Mac for personal use. For stuff like this, streaming, gaming, I don't use Mac for gaming. Oh, baby. Come on. Get up there. There it is. Okay, here we go. Yes, 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 yes. Um, so there's some stuff they're really good at, and there's some stuff that they're horrible at, right? So gaming, you can't game on a Mac. You need a PC with some, Nvidia graphics cards, and they're awesome for that, right? So, you know, but for personal stuff, emails, pictures, all that, I love it. Surfing the web is I love it. I can't tell you how simple it is to use Safari and get ads blocked and all this other stuff, and it's nice. It's nice.
Did you get a partial over 167, Carlos?
267. Yes, I did. Yep.
267. That's what I meant.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yep. Took a partial
Okay.
here at 267.
And AMD is
And
going through Friday's close. Finally got down there.
uh let's see here. Oh, what did Nvidia down below the VWAP? What are we thinking, Peter? I think Nvidia's a short, man. Uh, let's see if it pulls
Yeah.
back. Let's see if it pulls back.
I don't know. I don't want to get. I mean, I didn't actually trade it, but I'm thinking I don't want to get caught thinking that again, and then Nvidia doing the
Yeah.
old rug pull. There's still these orders at 192 that it never got that are sitting up there. Remember, those are sitting there on Friday as well. So I was talking about this Friday into the close, how you can get Nvidia is starting to change personality a little bit, where it's going to leave orders at whole dollar numbers and not necessarily go get them.
Yeah.
Apple's famous for doing that, where you can have orders that sit there for a week, and it never seems to be in a hurry to go, take them out. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but anyways,
All right, friends. We got news here on QCOM AI stuff. So here's trainterminal.com. You head on over there, you can see we got some news on QCOM, and they're up almost $13 from this move here. So, friends, you can always head over to trainterminal.com. Here's your news, right? Click on news, you can see what's happening. You also have Benzinga News up here, right? So we partner up with them where you can listen. Oh, you can't see that on my on the charts. Hold on. Let me do it this way. There it is. So you got Benzinga up here, which you can also listen into breaking news. But then here it is. Here, QCOM's got some news coming out now, and yeah, what introduces initiative memory architecture. offering a generational leap in effective memory bandwidth and efficiency for AI workloads. Of course, of course. Don't know what that means. Doesn't matter. QCOM is up 10% right now. I mean, just incredible. So awesome.
Yeah. Big move there on that news.
Wow.
On QCOM.
Wow. Shout out to Mike for calling out the news there. So Mike caught it. That's beautiful, man. That is the future. So we'll see more coming out on that, I'm sure. I see another headline here. More details. Qualcomm unveils new AI chip to compete in data center race. So very nice. Very nice. All right, take a look at that, guys. Again, Train Terminals got all that stuff there for you. Plus, again, the Benzinga, this thing, the squawk is really, really powerful. So you have that running in the background, and as soon as something comes up, it'll notify you of it. So, all right, Apple pulling back here. I'm glad I took that 267 partial there. I'm not getting out yet, but my stop is now at break even. This thing comes back down to 265, then it's no longer gonna be in it. So I'm hoping that moving averages, the VWAP, all these things ahead of me prevent it from dropping here. So let's see.
Nvidia finally heading to the low of day.
Oh my goodness, Nvidia. This is our move, man. This right here. Somebody had to have caught this, because I would have went in if I was watching this. Please tell me someone in the chat trade the VWAP breakdown on this thing. That is a beautiful setup, and you're definitely at least at 1.5R right now, maybe 2. You got it. You called it out, champion. Nice. Okay, did you take it? Beautiful, beautiful. That is textbook. I caught it. I caught it, you guys. I caught it. All right, so Alicia, you're very happy. Good. I like the fact that you caught that one. Oh, what a move. Very nice. Very nice. Is this are they not happy that Qualcomm is getting ahead of things here? What's going on? They're not happy with the news that's coming out out of Qualcomm?
Maybe. I don't know. Well, maybe it's more competitive than I appreciate.
Yeah, it could be. Wow. That is a beautiful drop. Tesla higher, man. 448. Once 449. Somebody in chat say once 450. Won't shock me. Man, what? Speaking of Tesla, like, look at this. Every time I look at this daily, I'm like, oh man, how wrong were the shorts here? Like, how wrong? I know nobody here is that wrong because you guys are great traders. But how wrong were you thinking this thing is going to go back to 120? Oof. Just you can never count this stock out. I'll tell you. My goodness.
Yep.
It's just gone. Wow.
Gone so long. Gone so long.
Friends, so we're sitting at how many likes here? 296. We'd love to be above 400. We have 1,061 people watching, so I think we could do half. We could do maybe 500. Let me tell you the story. So, Peter, over the weekend, funny stuff. Actually, last week, funny stuff, man. The innocence of kids, it's so wholesome. It's unbelievable. So, my son, we're upstairs, we're getting ready for bedtime, and he, out of nowhere, my son, by the way, he comes up with these not weird things, but like very thorough, thoughtful things that kids, at 5 years old probably don't come up with. And he's like, Dad, you know that heaven is not really up in the sky, it's down in the ground. And I'm like, why would you say that? He's like, of course, because we just buried grandma in the ground. So she's going to heaven. So it's down in the ground. It's not in the sky. And I'm just like, I see how you're making the connection here. So it's one of those things like, what made you think of that? But it's so cute to have him say like, yeah, no. And then we took him to the cemetery, and he's like, yeah, see all these people, they're going to heaven. Heaven is down in the ground. Just like, Oh man, like it's not the way that works, but it's the innocent of kids, man. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It really is. Oh man, but yeah, it's he's something else.
He's trying to connect the dots. So, you know, you gotta give him credit for
Yeah,
that.
trying to connect the dots. He breathes a ton. He read this book about there's a shark that I think Matt told you this. There's a shark that both lay eggs and also give birth. They could do this shark can do both.
Okay.
I had no idea. I'm reading books, you learn a lot. You reading kids' books. And he's like, well, if a shark can only do eggs, who laid the first egg? I'm just like, that's a good question. According to science, the Big Bang Theory, according to the Bible, Jesus. So, oh man, it's awesome. All right, classic chicken egg. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly, Ben.
It's a twist on the chicken or the egg, which came first. I guess it's now the shark or the egg. Is that the?
Yeah, but well, he brought it up because the book we're reading. Yeah, so it's crazy.
I mean, chickens are essentially dinosaurs, aren't they? I mean, that's what they say.
Are they?
That they're sort of remnants. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like they're what survived of the dinosaurs. Little tiny velociraptors.
Listen, man, this can get very ugly, but how do you know what happened millions of years ago based on some stuff you find on the ground that's probably deteriorated who knows how long? Like, how do you know like these animals ate this or ate that? I'm like, stop. But you know what? It's humans. Us, no, it's ridiculous. Like, really, millions and millions of years ago, you know this happened, and stop. You have no idea. But us humans, we have to have a reason. Like, you know, we have to have a reason. We
Are you
can't
discounting
just say
modern science?
some of it, not all of it, some of it. Like, it's okay to say, guys, we don't know. It's okay. Like, nobody's gonna kill you. Just, dude, you don't know.
It's okay.
That's it. It's okay. You
Just
don't
admit
have
it.
to have a reason for everything. Like, you just don't know. It's fine. It's okay. Oh my goodness. I know scientists in chat are probably saying that's not true. It's like you have to. We believe a thesis. No, stop. You don't know. It just happened. This is what it is. This is what we're dealing with. Yeah, that's it. Let's move on. Like, come on. Oh my goodness.
Carlos.
It's just Peter when we start getting to like millions and millions and millions of years ago. Like, come on.
Well, you're not believing it, eh? All right.
I'm not buying it, man. I'm buying it. Oh goodness. All right, so I am out of Apple. I might regret it because here's the VWAP. It might bounce back from here, but I want to take it out even before my break even to even protect some more. And we'll see where it goes. It goes from here. All right, friends. 10:17. Let's give out some books. I want to give out some books before we get out of here.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Let's do that.
Need to do that.
Yeah, let's do that. So let me start my little machine here for Lambos and Garbage Truck members. We'll do some audiobooks. And let me see which. All right, so it's on #book, and then let's go see which one I have handy. One sec here. So yeah, #book, friends. #book, and gets you in. I can see some people coming in already. Very nice. If you're part of Lambos and Garbage Truck family, you'll get that, and then we'll do a funded account giveaway. So the funded account giveaway, you have to be part of Trading Terminal. You have to have a membership with Trading Terminal, which is I think it's like $99 a month. So it's pretty straightforward. If you win, definitely go sign up. You gotta have a membership. And then when you go to the checkout, I think we're gonna charge you like $2 because just to make sure that the bots and everything is nothing crazy. So gotta have a Trading Terminal membership. Yeah. We'll do that a little bit later. Oh man, Apple is bouncing. I was gonna regret this here on Apple.
And Nvidia, Carlos, finally got the move. I didn't have the guts to try it again.
Wow.
You had called the drop. We just didn't take it. So
I did. Oh.
Time to short Tesla. I don't think it's time to short Tesla yet.
Some people in the chat did take it. Did take the VWAP breakout. Oh man, breakdown. Yeah. That is a beautiful trade. Beautiful trade. So Good stuff here. Um. All right, so the book I have is a psychology book. Mastering Trading Psychology is what we're going to be giving out. So it's a psychology book for today. And if you have it, because a lot of you guys already probably have, I got one person email me saying, I have all of Andrew's books. I have every single one of them. Think about maybe you want to give it to somebody as a gift, right? You can give it to someone. Or I like the audiobooks because if I have the regular book, I like the audiobook. I can always play if I'm like doing something and it kind of refreshes things, right? So there's something nice about the audiobooks that you can play as a refresher as well, even if you read the book already, right? And get a different perspective opposed to you reading it and just hearing it. Something nice about that. So, all right, let's do it. Here's the audiobook, friends. Let's see who our winners are. Manju Dala 6099. All right, congrats. We have Galaxy 13 these numbers. 235. All right, there you go. We also have Albanat Gabrat.
Hey, they
Welcome.
managed to avoid some numbers. Good
Yeah,
for
they
them.
did. Exactly. Some people did manage to avoid some numbers there. Felix Sebastian 2215. And we'll do one more. What the heck? One more. Here it is. Bushan Solanki. I think I know this person. Yeah, I think they're one of our good time viewers. All right, awesome, friends. If you want, send me an email, carlos@bearwithtraders.com, and we'll get that Audible book to you. Okay, so send me an email, and then we'll do the funded account after Spot Gamma, between Spot Gamma and Thor. All right, so after Spot Gamma interview's done, before Thor comes on, hang around. We'll do that funded account then. All right, so that also gives you an opportunity if you do want to join to be able to be on that drawing, you can do so. And I believe Dr. V, look at this drop on Nvidia and Amazon. Dr. V just released a video for Lambos and Garbage Truck members, so you got access to that as well on YouTube. So take a look at
Now
that.
Nvidia's losing it.
Just laughing at us now, man. It's just
And
like,
AMD continuing lower. Oh, AMD would have been a good trade off the open if anybody got that short. It's been
yeah.
consistently short all day. I still have no trades. I'm still just watching here, but
It's was. Oh wow! Look at QCOM is still going. Man, this news. The market is loving this news right now. So up 20%. That is big time gap up. Like look at this. That is a big time move, man. Wow. That is really, really nice.
yeah, Qualcomm. Yeah, a little surprising that it moved that
Yeah,
much off of that news, but definitely if you caught that,
really
you're
is, man.
looking happy today.
Wow.
Oh, good drop.
Who's waiting for the short on QCOM? Careful, but it could be a good short opportunity, Peter. This seems overextended.
It does seem like it's
It
a little
seems
too much based on the
yeah.
news, but you know
If you
what?
go short, please just tap me on the shoulder. I might join with you. But this seems
Careful.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be a good scalp, at least down to 194. Oh man. Yeah, this looks yeah. Let's see. Here's the 9. Trying to hold on to that. But careful, careful. It is a freight train right now. I think eventually comes down. It's all about timing. When is that going to happen? All right, so we made a little money on Apple on our funded account. We just got everything out. So nothing big, but here's our funded account trading terminal. We lost an Nvidia, we won an Apple. Just kind of the same thing we did in our real account as well. And yeah. Tomorrow we'll have more time. I'll show you guys some of the trades that you guys have sent me on the trading terminal. So if you have any trades, I would love to see screenshots. I got a couple of people. Someone sent me their spreadsheet, their tracking, how they're progressing. So I'll show you that tomorrow. That's pretty cool. I did not do that in my simulation for 7 months. So if you're able to do what some of these people are doing, you're gonna be well prepared when it's time to go live. Wow. How about QCOM? Oh boy, oh boy. I think there's a short opportunity here, but I just don't know.
Got a bounce on Nvidia.
AMD also bouncing to a little bit here. Apple, I'm glad I got out when I did. Look at this beautiful drop below the VWAP. We're out of Apple race, so we took our two partials up to 267. Took a partial. I'm glad I took this partial before break even right here. So that's good. And could be interesting. Apple's trading very well today.
Watching very well. Tesla up here to see if this is
wow. Is Andrew still in this?
A retest.
Still in.
I don't know. Is he?
No,
He's been in it all
yeah.
morning. I think he is. He's got his orders queued up here.
He's got some triangles up here.
Let's see. I want to see it hit 449 and then see if it falters or not. Because I don't. There's orders at 450, but there's nothing really in between.
Yep. Chris MC.
Yeah, this would be like my my Mountain Pass type setup, but we got to see if it's gonna, it's gonna fail to make a higher high first.
Oh, I was right on. Okay. Yeah. No. Yep.
So Andrew just got his fill at 449. I think he's 449.50 is his next stop. That would be a new high of day if he does hit 449.50.
Oh man. Should have went with my gut feeling on this thing. QCOM.
On QCOM?
Yeah, it's dropping.
Is it dropping now?
Yeah, it continues to drop.
Let's see what it did up here. Oh,
around 200, yeah.
This thing. Yeah, whole dollar number.
Yeah. Let's see here. The true entry would have been like up here. Like I could have seen you, Peter, taking a short like somewhere up here. When you take those quick scalping shorts.
Yeah, it wasn't quite like parabolic enough. It went up.
Yeah.
It went up hard, but not like. Oh, what do we got?
Chris MC. Atlas makes scalping on easy mode. Yes, it does. Atlas helps a lot.
We've got
a lot of things here.
Oh, that's what I'm hearing. We got our Spot Gamma friends joining. Getting queued up here.
We're getting queued up. I'm actually gonna go set them up here. Make sure we get their cameras and everything else, and then Andrew will be on shortly in a couple of minutes here. All right, so let's see. Yeah. See how this goes here. So yeah, look, it's bouncing back here. So it would have been a quick drop and then immediately out for that. All right, friends. Andrew up next with Spot Gamma. So once Andrew joins here, we'll transition over to him. Carlos, how do I follow all the rules in the funded account? So the funded account rules are pretty straightforward, right? Come in here and make sure you click on this account rules, right? They're not really hard rules. I'm following them as I'm doing my funded account with you guys here. It's just basic stuff. Like don't go take a penny stock and gamble, and make 15 grand, 20 grand, then don't trade for the rest of the 90 days. Like that's probably the most egregious rule that you have, right? Don't do that. That's not real trading. That's not gonna, it's not gonna get you a page. So, but yeah. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward rules. You guys can check those out there.
Oh, there's a Tesla. So Tesla broke my rule, so no Mountain Pass trade on Tesla for me. Looks like it's
yeah. And with that, you're getting filled. Filled through that 449.50. So you had an order out there, so you got filled on that. OSAM, no. So I did not. So yeah, BYND was our big winner, but it was above $5 at the time we traded it. Now we took a short in below $5. That's a different story. But if it's above $5 at the time we traded it, you're good. It was like I think $6 or something. The fact that it went down to $3 and we wrote the whole short, a whole different story. I can't control that.
That's I like the little caveat to the rules there.
What can we do? Oh boy. All right, let's see here. What can we do? All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Tesla 450. There it is. And we're getting filled at 450 on Tesla. What a trade today, friends. I would say blockbuster move there.
Ooh, there's a volume spike on Tesla.
Look at that. Sell, rejection, big pop, and then drop there. We'll see if people all right, goes. All right, friends, give us 1 second here. We're going to start switching things over. Andrew's coming on here, and we will have our guests today. I just got to make sure they're all set up, got their cameras ready. I see Andrew hopping over.
All right. Good morning,
hello,
everybody.
Andrew. How are you? Good morning. Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good. Doing good today.
We're great.
Correct. Yeah. So, how are you doing, Peter?
I'm good. Quiet morning for me, but I've been watching you trade Tesla quite effectively all morning. So well done there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Carlos did also Apple pretty nice. So
yeah, yes, that was great.
Yeah,
that was really interesting. So Carlos also shared the screen on the chat room. Perfect.
Dallas Fed October business activity -5 versus.
That was yeah. Sorry, that was
Mr.
terminal.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so
I get a nice CRML short at the open. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Brian did a very nice short on CRML, critical metals. They were really setting up. I don't know what's the news on it, but maybe because of the China deal, the rare metal companies are getting hit because now the relationship is getting better with China. They're less in demand. Is that the reason, Brian? So you took that short at the open?
Yeah. A lot of the critical metal stocks were down, or at least the rare earth stocks. MP was another one that got hit hard today, but a lot of that had to do with the potential for China to drop some of the export controls.
Yeah. Perfect. So yeah, that was a good short that Brian did at the open. I personally looked at opening range breakout and Nvidia, PLTR, and Tesla. Tesla was the one that worked really well. With the help of market atlas, obviously in trading terminal, we have the market atlas really helps into the direction. And the trading of community has gone up significantly with market atlas because people are emailing me their funded account, their profit, and all of them they contribute this to this amazing tool that we have in trading terminal. So Tesla was essentially opening range breakout. Obviously we had this market atlas levels. I partialed all the way up to 444, came down, it stopped me out of the break even, but quickly bounced back from the VWAP. So I went long again, added more a couple of times. The market atlas was showing towards 449, 450 and everything. So I partialed, pulled back, I held it and partialed. And for those of you who don't know what the market atlas is essentially a tool that I'm bringing it here that shows the levels of liquidity that usually goes toward that direction right now. So it's at 450, 449. And in this case, we have some levels down here. So that's why the price is going down toward. But at the open, it was very clear that how it goes higher. And we have a complete library of education and live trading based on that. So we can see how makes a decision. And this has caused the trading of our community, especially people in the funded account, because we can see the trades has gone up significantly, the profit that they're making. Having said that, having tools is very important. Useful tools for your trading is very important. I personally don't use a lot of tools because majority of the tools are really, I found it expensive, plus they're not impacting your trading as much. However, there are some tools that are extremely useful, like Market Atlas was something that, we found it useful through other companies that they were offering, and we decided to build it for the community, included in Trading Terminal. Another tool that I found, I personally don't use it, but some of our community members are using it. Jared, for example, is using it, and it has impacted their trading really well. And that tool is, a software called Spot Gamma. And a spot gamma is essentially showing the key levels of trading for indexes and some of the stocks in play based on their option chain and option chain activity. And a lot of these moves are happening in the pricing of the stocks or indexes because of the options activity. And if there are some unusual option activity, the price usually through the arbitrage, follows that option activity, and vice versa. So I personally haven't used the spot gamma, but we have Brent here that I think is the CEO and founder of the company. He was kind enough to come to Vancouver and do a presentation about their software, and I wouldn't have him as a guest unless I wasn't sure that 100% it's a good product. And we want to have a quick chat with him, and he explained quickly for us what the software is and give an introduction. And if community is interested, they can always check out their trial. Brent, can you hear us? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, please do share that Carlos was going to put in there. So as I mentioned, Brent, I'm a perfect interviewer because I don't know anything from you. I don't know anything about your platform, and if you can very low level and high level explain to us what it is and a couple of examples, that would be nice, because I'm sure majority of our traders haven't really dived into your product yet.
Yeah, thanks for that opportunity. So I'm the founder of Spot Gamma. My partner Matt is the CEO. And I have about 30 years of institutional derivatives experience, meaning I worked at a bunch of banks and a market maker in the hedge fund space, in the option space. And what we do at Spot Game is we just describe through our tools and through the notes I write every day how the options market is driving stocks. And historically, people would say, well, I just trade stocks. I don't need to pay attention to this option stuff. But the options volume has grown so much. We think it's really critical to watch how these options flows are shifting. And I'm going to show you Qualcomm today. I'm going to show you a couple of big levels in the S&P. We're going to show you how these options positions and the hedging flows tied to the options positions are driving big stock moves every day. Just to give you a little bit of data here, we set a record on the 10th a couple weeks ago, 110 million options contracts traded. Just massive. Zero DTE volume in the S&P 500 hit a record this month of 70% of total SPX options volume was tied to the contract that expires today. That's been stable at about 60 to 65%. And so, these volumes are just massive. They're growing. And what I think the impact of that is the volatility is now higher. So in the past, you would expect a 1% move in a given stock for a given piece of news. And now you get like a 3% move, like in Qualcomm today. I'll show you the numbers. And you go like, this is wild. But then you watch how much options flow is pouring into that thing. And you say, okay, like I understand. It's basically leverage on that stock, right? That's what all this options volume is doing.
So Brett, would you share a screen? Because I have
yeah,
my
let's do it
right now. If you share your screen, then I can stop, and then Carlos can actually share your screen. But I'm in your website. Quickly look at it, and essentially this box that you have it on websites, it seems that is really giving you a summary of your tools. So daily option flow analysis, unique levels on US indexes, and key level on 3,500 US stocks, real-time charts and indicator, and directional guidance. And they're very important, like similar to our market atlas that gives you some directional guidance. These can give you in a different perspective. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So if you do.
Yeah, we need Carlos just to flip it over there.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I still don't see his screen. So Brent, if you just
it's being shared
on my screen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can stop and retry here.
No, I see it in
you see it. You're
Zoom.
Good?
It's in the Zoom meeting, Carlos. If you're able to pick
he has to just redo it. Once Andrew stops his, he has to just redo it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
No problem. We'll try it again here. 2. Boom. How's that?
I can see it in Zoom, but Carlos, do you get it?
Still not coming into vMix here. Yeah, no, still not coming in for some reason.
Okay, what about this one? What about Carlos? I share his screen.
Yeah.
Then maybe you can actually get it from my screen. All right. Oops. What happened?
Now, if there's another way I can try to share it.
There we go.
No, that's not the right way.
Oh. You want me to log out of Zoom and log back in?
Yeah, give me one more second. We'll give it a try here. If that didn't work, then we go through the hard way.
No problem.
No, when I share that one, I lose your screen. So yeah, so maybe you log back in there.
Okay, cool. I will be right back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem at all. I get it. Technology these days, right?
All right. So any question, guys, until Brent comes back up on YouTube live about trading in the chat room. So it was a pretty good day. So I personally actually had a pretty good day. So Tesla is still going up. I still have 1,500 shares on Tesla. Any question?
Yeah, Tesla's kind of flattening out right now. Nvidia's come back up.
Yeah, Nvidia come back up. The QCOM news was crazy, and
yeah.
Any question, guys, in the chat room until the Brent is coming?
Yeah, pop back in here. Hopefully you can see my screen.
Yeah, their screen's still not coming up. I see they got a couple of users though, so maybe those other people can disconnect and just have Brent. So Brent, just if you can just connect.
Or maybe Brian, you can disconnect. Maybe
Want me to disconnect? I
We're
can
gonna
do
keep
that.
that.
Sure.
There it is. No, you're fine.
Yeah.
We got him now. We got it. It's just that there's a couple of users on your end, Brent, but now I got your screen. There we go. That's what it is. Okay. You're set now.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Perfect.
And Brent,
Hey
can you hear
guys.
us?
Hey,
Yep.
Brent.
Cool. You can see my screen okay?
Yes, I can.
I
I'm
can
bringing it up
see
right now.
Carlos.
I can
Can you
see
see?
it now. Yeah, we can see
Yeah.
it now.
Okay, great. Awesome. All right, so thanks. So I want to show a couple of things today. I know we're talking about QCOM, Tesla, and just the overall market. And I want to show you how the options flows can help you to navigate these. And we have a lot of members at Spot Gamma, and they'll come to us and say, look, I don't trade the options market, Brent. Like, I'm not buying puts and calls. Like, why do I care? And you should care because the stocks that we're trading every day, the futures we're trading every day, in my view, are being moved by the market every day. And I'm going to show you this real time right here, right now. The other thing is we have a special link for people in the Bear Bull community, excuse me, and you get to try out all these tools for free. We're having an open house this week because we're launching a bunch of products. So like you said, Andrew, before, proof is in the pudding, right? Try it before you buy it, all that other stuff. We want everyone here to be better traders because of this data. So I want to show you important level in the S&P 500 first, and then we can talk about let me just close this window here. Qualcomm. There's a huge position right here. Do you see this? This is a 68.80, right? And this giant blue bar tells me that options dealers are long calls at 68.80 and 68.75. Okay.
Mhm.
So why this matters is if the market starts to move up, that becomes more likely that we pin or move quickly to that strike. We've been calling this a seek and destroy algo in the market. And basically what happens is these big traders have been coming in and trading 0DT options. And so they'll build these really concentrated positions. And so that big concentrated position for today is sitting right here, 68.80. Okay. So there's this massive target now in the market, and this gets tagged. Nothing is ever 100%, but this gets tagged at like an astonishing percentage, right? Where you see this massive position in the market, and the S&P will move up and hit that level, and then as soon as we hit that level, the market kind of chills out, right? So if I'm trading the S&P right now and I'm looking at these levels, I'm thinking to myself, where are the two big targets in the options market? Because oftentimes the market moves to those strikes. So just to show you how big that is, we put stats in here, right? Because you're new to this, you haven't been watching. You're like, well, Brent, exactly how big is this? If I hover over this, what you see is the third line down there. This is bigger than 99.92% of all strikes that we've monitored over the last 90 days. So that's how you know it's a really big strike, right? So what you're seeing is, or what I think you'll see today is the market move up into that level because there's all these hedging flows tied and associated with those levels. Does that generally make sense?
Yeah, it does. I have a question for you.
Sure.
I have an understanding that this is very similar to Market Atlas that we have. The liquidity of the level two shows that, but this one actually is a better, time zone, because when I looked at the SPY of Market Atlas, we don't have anything at 688, but it's you have that. How far of these option activities? What's the expiry date on those ones?
So I have this little toggle button here, right? And if I toggle this back and forth, you see 0DT only when I toggle this on. You see how the positions aren't changing? I know this is a 0DT option, right? And I could tell you exactly how many contracts it is if I switch to net OI, net open interest, and it's 26,000 calls there, and there's 13,000 here. So in total, it's about 40,000 contracts between the two of these strikes, right? And this map updates every 10 minutes, meaning these strikes update every 10 minutes. And what we're doing is we're tracking how big funds are positioned, right? We're tracking the buy side so that we know, hey, big hedge funds buying here. This is what the market maker exposure is associated with that. So what you end up with is this map, right? And so what this map is telling us is where is the bullish blue zone, and that's what this is highlighting. Okay, so we're in this zone, then we think there's pretty good market stability, right? We're in kind of like the safety, keep my long position as long as we're in this blue zone. And if we break into this red, what this is showing us is market makers may start shorting if we plunge down into that red. And so this is the area where we want to be worried about a sell-off, because you can see the map is again extremely red, which tells us that the market makers are going to hedge a little bit differently. And so that's what this map is telling us. And the map is changing again every 10 minutes. So I can replay this and you can see how the map has changed over the course of the day, right? And the reason the map is changing is because hedge funds are changing their positions constantly. Retail's trading all day long, right? So the map is updating in real time over the course of the day. And remember, I said 65% of options are 0 DT now in the S&P 500. So things can change pretty quickly, pretty dynamically in this market. So we really rely heavily on this map to help us again navigate how the ESE mini futures are trading, and to help position. I trade a lot of options myself, so I like to trade exactly around these positions update.
Brent, what about the pre-market? I see that your time frame is going to pre-market. Does option activity? There's no activity in the pre-market, is it?
The S&P 500 starts trading at 2 a.m. Eastern time. So you do start to see small positions come in. They're not huge typically. If there's some big piece of news, like I'm sure, last night at 2 in the morning because of the jump higher in the markets, there's a little bit more activity than normal. But generally speaking, it's pretty quiet. When Europe opens, around 4 a.m., kind of the volume picks up a little bit, but the bulk of activity starts at 9:30 in the morning Eastern time when the U.S. cash market opens.
Yeah, that's fascinating, actually. Can you show Tesla as well? Because I personally traded Tesla. It would be interesting to see what was the Tesla 0 DT activity.
Yeah, let's check that out. So I'm going to go to I had Qualcomm load up. Let's load up Tesla here. So you can see all this U.S. listed stocks, right? Okay, so there's two lines on your chart. The line is the price of Tesla, right? So you can see, and you were trading it earlier, it went up to 450 and it's kind of leveled out. Then we have this other line, which is the S&P 500 hedging volume, okay? So let me just change the format of this a little bit here. So what you see is this candlestick line going up, right? The candlestick line is the dollars coming into Tesla. So if it's positive dollar flow, that's people buying calls essentially, right? Mm-hmm. And so you see this candlestick line is going up, and then right when we hit 450, and if I put this at a candle, I think you sold it this morning, right? So we just tagged 450. See that?
Yeah.
So when we tagged 450, I think that's where you traded. What happened to the options volume? It basically stopped. The call flow into Tesla basically stopped, right? Because we hit $800 million of flow over the start of the morning, as you can see right here. And then all of a sudden the call buyer stopped. And so what that tells me is the options market stopped being a buyer when we hit that key level. And to me, that's a key indicator of what other traders are doing. Price tells you a little bit of that, right? But why this matters is because the more call dollars flow into the market, the more money in theory, right, options market makers have to hedge with. And so what you're actually seeing is we call it the hedging pressure, again, in dollar terms, going into Tesla. And if the call buyers stop, oftentimes the momentum of the stock stops, right? Particularly when you hit a key level. And so had this candlestick kept going higher, then I would be much more concerned or much more on alert for Tesla to continue to go through that 450 level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does absolutely make sense. Yeah.
And then how much of that flow is next expiration, right? So there is no 0 DT in Tesla, meaning there's no options that expire today, but everyone trades the Friday options, right? So the teal line is the flow that is only 0 DTE or next Friday expiration. I often refer to as 0 DT. So the teal line is just the most active, kind of shorter dated call buyers. And looking at the difference between 0 DT and all expiration flow is important because if people are buying longer dated calls like November or December, to me, that's telling me that these traders are in it for a couple of months, right? They're not trying to actively trade this thing. It's less of a momentum trade, right? It's people who, we'll check out Qualcomm in a minute. It's like, okay, new chip deals, that means another 100 billion in revenue for Qualcomm. I'm buying December calls, right? Because if I think all of a sudden that, the paradigm is different now for Qualcomm, I'm not going to buy Friday's expiration, right? I'm going to buy December or next year's options. And that would show up in the purple line, right, as all expiration call buying versus people who are in right now trying to momentum trade, and they may sell in like an hour, right, because they're just essentially trying to day trade using options. And that's a huge thing right now, right? People using the options to day trade the stock instead of actually using the stock. So you kind of want to be aware of who the end user is and what their activity is doing, right? And that can really help you to navigate this stuff. So when I'm looking at Tesla, we hit 450 and the call volume stopped, but I think a lot of that longer dated flow is coming in. You can see the separation between these two lines, right? The purple candlestick and the teal candlestick. So even though in the short term we saw Tesla hit 450 and pull back, the fact that there's these longer term call buyers coming in, to me, is actually a decent signal for the stock going forward because of that, right? But the fact that we hit 450, which is a big level, I'm sure a lot of people are watching, and you see the options market back off, then that makes sense. That on the short term, time horizon, you picked an outstanding price level because that's where the options traders also decided to back off.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any stock that has zero DTs? Does Apple or Nvidia, they do have zero, or every other day they have, yes?
The single stocks, Apple, Meta, all single stocks have just Friday expiration options. The Qs, IWMs, gold has every other day, silver has every other day now, S&P has every day. So those index options right now are the largest. And the word is the options exchanges want to start offering daily expirations in those top single stocks as well. So that's going to kind of add more volume to the mix. So let's talk about Qualcomm quickly, just because I think that's so interesting here as well. So if we bring up Qualcomm, what has happened here, right? We gapped up to 200, and you can see that right on at 10:30, there was some really big flow that came in from a longer dated perspective, and I can break this down and kind of figure out exactly what it is. But when we hit 200, look at the options flow, right? It has started to really sell, particularly in the zero DT or Friday expiration option space. It's really started to sell and bring in some bearish pressure, right? And so if I'm in this stock right now and I'm thinking that the stock is kind of like re-engage, the fact that these options flows are pushing against it is a sign that it's going to be hard for that stock to regain that momentum, right? And particularly when you have this really big price level above. And so I'm watching this and I can see my indicators are kind of drifting lower here. And that to me is not I don't want to get back into the stock until I know that the options buyers have re-engaged with it, right? And so again, the price line is this is the line chart. The hero indicator or our options flows are the purple lines. And so again, until these purple lines pick back up, and you can see their negative value now. So what that's telling me is on the day, actually, the Friday expiration options had started to sell. So what are they doing? They're buying puts or they're selling calls in Qualcomm after this giant rally, right? And it's going to be hard for the stock to kind of regain its momentum or its footing, right, in the short term when the options market is selling. And you say, well, Brent, is this a lot of options flow? Here is our 90-day range in dollar value, right? Minus 80 million to positive 60 million. Over the last 30 days, that's the range, right? The highest positive value and the highest negative value. And right now we were at $196 million. So this is a big day for Qualcomm in terms of the dollar value shifting. Obviously, we've shifted negative in the stock now. So this to me tells me that Qualcomm has a lot of bearish pressure after it hit that 200 level. Again, you can see kind of like in Tesla at 450, right? At 200, that momentum has really turned south. And so, I'm very cautious on Qualcomm until it looks like the options flow kind of bases and stabilizes. And I could break this down into puts and calls as well. If I'm an options trader, what's the smartest way to short Qualcomm? It's to sell calls, because that call vol, right, the value of calls surged after that massive jump. And so the orange line going down now is telling me that that's what options traders are doing. They're selling calls, which makes total sense because the values of calls were super expensive with that 15% gap higher. So again, from a momentum perspective, why would stock price turn around if we know there's just giant option sellers coming in and really pushing that stock, down now? Like, wait for this to settle down, wait for this to clear up, then use your technical indicators and other things you're looking at. I know you guys like to talk about VWAP and stuff here as well. Like, you can line up the options flow with those technical indicators, and it can be very powerful in my view, because that options flow is backing the signal that you're looking at.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So there's a couple of questions here, mostly about the education around it. You mentioned that there is open house, but what about the educational library? Do you have a chat room that people can come? How they can, educate themselves around it?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we have a Discord chat, so you can join our Discord room. I have 2 weekly Q&As. I do one on Monday, so I'll be doing one later this afternoon, and then another one on Thursdays. We do that every week. And then we have, under the resources tab here, we have a full syllabus. So every single one of our tools has a complete user guide, and then we have this syllabus you can walk through to help you learn all of the different metrics and types of trading, right? And or ways to use our tools. And I would just say this, it's like, everything is a lingo, right, that you'll hear about option selling flows and this and that. But at the end of the day, we try to build all the tools so that even if you don't fully understand options hedging flows and mechanics, we all know here if the purple line's going down and it's got negative values, that's pretty easy to understand that's bearish, right? And if the line goes up, that's bullish, and that's great. And kind of like in this trace map we were talking about earlier too, it's like, you know, blue good, red bad, and support and resistance, right, are where these big levels are. So if you just sort of start with that base and say, okay, the market, the options market's giving me bullish and bearish levels and support and resistance levels, then you go great. And then along the way, I can kind of start to understand, delta hedging and those other types of mechanics, right? So we really try to design the tools so that, traders can jump in, understand bullish, bearish, support, resistance, and get started through that lens.
Yeah, that's excellent. Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much for that. I think Carlos is sharing the link on YouTube about the access to that free access. And if you can share it, Carlos, into the chat room as well. I know YouTube they have it. So I think this is a great tool, and like any other tool, it gives you some indication and some information, and it's up to you how to implement it in your trade book and a strategy and essentially decision-making process. Probably, Brent, you agree with me that this is not 100% decision-making based on that. If you see something that you have to go and you make money, it's just another tool into your disposal, and you have to use it wisely.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think that's the critical thing here. Like at Spot Gamer, we're not giving you the trading strategy. We're not telling you to buy the stock or how to buy the stock. I trade a lot of options, for example. So there's a lot of ways to express a bullish view or a bearish view. What's your time frame? All those kinds of things. What we're trying to do here is tell you when the options market is giving us a signal. You take those signals then and then incorporate it into your own strategy, right? So I'm not giving you a new trading strategy. I'm giving you information from the impact of these options trades and options markets, right? And I also write a founder's note, right? So every morning I'm writing a note and I say, this is what I see in the options market, right? These are the signals that I see. These are the dates you should worry about based on the options market. And here's how this positioning is going to really or could really impact you, right? And I'll just give you an example of how the founder's note helps, right? So on the 10th, right before the huge sell-off, right? We were writing about this signal in the options market about the risk that was in the market, and so you can see that in here, right? This is a huge risk signal for us. At the top, we said 10-7 risk alert, right? Based on what we're seeing in the options market, and we were saying is the options market had stretched to such extreme levels that it was presenting a ton of risk in the market. And you can go back and read all of our founders' notes. And so we said, you have to watch out for this. There's a soft underbelly in the market, right? We give the risk off level. We say what the concern is. And then on Friday, what happens? Trump just gives a tweet and everyone's like, it was just a tweet. It wasn't that big of a deal, right? But the market had this violent 3% sell-off. And if you knew that the options market was stretched and in this really risky position, then when you get the giant sell-off, you can react to the sell-off differently because you're like, okay, I know what the driver was here. It was the options market. It had to clear out all these positions, right? People were way offside in the options market. So then you go, okay, great. I know the options market exacerbated the selling. Then I can buy the dip maybe a little bit more comfortably, or I can address the way that I'm looking at the sell-off or change the way I'm looking at the sell-off because I have this other information about this giant driver in the market. And so, that's really the critical thing is that if you know that the options market, again, it just keeps growing in size. If you know that is this driver and it's exacerbating risk in the market, then you can use your VWAP tools and use your other indicators to say, okay, instead of looking for a 1% move today, maybe I should look for a 2% move today because all these options flows are pushing into the market, right? You can change your targets a little bit, because at the end of the day, we're all looking at the same thing, right? You have price targets and you have or directional targets, and you have volatility targets, right? You think the stock is going to move 1%, 5%, 10% over the next 1, 2, 3, 5 days, right? That's all of your trading is doing, right? Am I bullish or bearish, and how far? How far is volatility? That's what we talk about here, right? How much can the stock move, and how much the stocks can move these days is so much tied to what the options market is doing, right? And that's kind of like I think the critical piece here is understanding that you can express the impact of the options market through buying and selling stock, right? You just look for bigger or smaller moves depending on how the options market is positioned.
Yeah, absolutely. Fascinating. Thank you so much. There's some many questions, there are technical questions about, the data, the, time and everything. So I think the best would be to answer those ones in your, you said you have a Q&A twice a week. Is that correct?
That's correct. We have two Q&As per week on Monday and also on Thursdays. We're doing a whole bunch of webinars this week because we're launching 5 new tools this week, just to give an idea of what they are. We have a new scanners tool here. This tells you whether options are cheap or expensive, and this can help you to react to overbought and oversold levels. So if you see, for example, that calls are more expensive than they've been in the last year, and you're thinking that the stock looks like a short to you on your other indicators, that lines up as a fantastic signal in my view oftentimes. So this new indicator here shows you the trail of how options prices are moving. We've also launched a brand new, so if you trade options at all, we're launching a brand new options calculator. This is sort of the marquee of our product launch this week. And what's interesting about this, for those of you who are in the options space, is we allow you to come in and change the volatility curves in options prices in our calculator. We're the only ones that we know around that do that, and it's so critical to pricing how options trade. So that's part of our big launch this week. Again, this is all part of our open house. And then there's several other tools that are available with this launch. And so you can email us, info@spotgamma.com. We'll get right back to you. Open House allows you to try all this out. If you join with the link that they put in the chat, you also get a great deal as part of our launch. So we're offering some really great membership plans to join with. So I'll make sure you get all your questions answered. We're doing a ton of Q&As this week, so you can show up to those. A lot of those are part of the open house, and they're free. And we're an open book over here. We want you to use the tools, ask the questions, get your answers, and see how this options information helps to impact your trading.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. What time is today? Q&A session hasn't happened?
Yeah, we're gonna do that at 1 o'clock today for subscribers. And so if you want to get access to that, just email us info@spotgamma.com, and maybe we can shoot you a link so you can join that live Q&A, which is subscribers only. But we love you guys at Bear Bull, so we'll let you in on that one if you're so interested. So again, email us info@spotgamma.com, and we'll send you the Zoom link for that subscriber Q&A
Sorry,
today.
what was the email? Brent at the spot.com?
I'm sorry, info.
Info.
Yeah, I talk quite quickly. I got to learn to slow down.
No, the time is obviously limited. So guys, if you want to join the Q&A session, info@spotgamma.com. Yes?
Yes, that's exactly right. So email us there, and we're happy to help. Here's
so
the
in
just
2
last
hours.
check of the
In 2
exactly.
hours. Well, great. Thank you so much for a short period of time. I think I learned something. It was amazing. And again, some of our members are using it. Jared is using it. And if you guys want to learn more, I think it would be the best to really join their program. And you won't learn it just in one day, but slowly you become familiar with the tool. And thank you, Brent. I'm really, really grateful. And thanks for coming to Vancouver. I had the pleasure of meeting you in person as well.
Yeah, it was fun.
And,
yeah, it was great. Amazing event you guys had there.
Yeah, hopefully looking forward to hearing from you more, and maybe do another technical webinar for us, maybe once a month or something. We have Tuesdays that we go through the strategy. And I'm sure people were asking, but it seems that you have a very good, complete education and mentorship program around your software, which is amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Those are very kind words. I love the Bull Bear community, and anytime you guys want me to come back, please let me know. And Nathan, I love to hear that you are using it as well. As music to our ears, right? If you want to build stuff, that help people out, right? Otherwise, they don't come back. So
I have to sign off, Brent. But since Nathan is here and Nathan is using your program, if you want to continue, Nathan, if I have questions or maybe show something, feel free. But I personally have to sign off. Well, thanks again. And
thanks, Andrew.
guys.
Yeah, Brian here. Thanks very much as well. Appreciate the presentation. Always instructive.
Yeah, thanks so much. Hey, Brian. Yeah, I'm totally happy. I got another about until 11:15 at least. So I got another 5 or 10 minutes. Anything in particular you wanna touch on? Any questions? Any questions you guys have? I'd love to hear them. Or insights. Things like that are really valuable.
Gamma. And the one thing, kind of the next step, I was talking to him, and what do I need to get into next, kind of what I'm ready for. And it's the volatility and reading, volatility and understanding how that's going to impact my trade or the setup. So if you can go into like a little bit more of that, especially because our community trades a lot of stocks, a lot of equities.
Yep.
I just trade futures at the moment, but it's trying to get into that volatility that I'm
Yeah.
really interested in right now.
Yeah, and there's some really interesting things about the volatility or options prices that matter. And I'll try to give you an example of this, right? So there's a lot of symbols on here, but I want to look at the overall, top stocks in this window. And I'll just try to be very like basic with this, right? So the right side of this chart, we call this our compass. The right side of this chart is when calls are really expensive. And the left side of this chart is generally speaking when puts are relatively expensive. And the reason that you may want to watch this is because the cool thing about options prices is that, a lot of times you can be bullish or bearish in a stock and you can look at an RSI or something like that, right? And try to get a feel for how bullish or bearish people are. But in the options market, people have to pay for call options, right? And they have to pay for put options. And so the bullishness or bearishness is actually described as essentially a price level, right? If that makes sense. So it's like, how bullish are you? Well, I'm paying for calls at a price that is more expensive than at any point in the last year. And so that can be an incredible signal as to whether a stock is extremely overbought or extremely kind of oversold. And so what is interesting to me about this, for example, is gold, right? Gold was one that last week had been flashing a really overbought signal, for example. And so let me just go back to this and I'll show you guys this this trail, right? Because the trail is kind of cool. So I'm gonna shut off. I'm gonna turn off all these symbols. I don't want this to be kind of like too complicated here. But gold. Everyone knows that gold had this incredible run, right? And was up so much over here. And we were all watching RSIs and different technical indicators that are trying to figure out when this thing would stall out. And what gets interesting is you hit this point in the options market where the options are more expensive, right, than they've been at any point in the last year. And when you hit that point, that's telling us that the options market is saying, like, look, you're not going to make any money anymore if you buy or if you buy options, right? Because they've gotten so expensive. So what that tells us is that the move is probably going to stall out because options don't pay off anymore. So what happens when options don't pay off anymore? What do traders do? They start to sell those options, right? And when they start to sell options, that means that the move can be done because all of a sudden this selling flow comes in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
And so we've seen so many times before when you see this IV rank at 100, we've seen so many times where that IV rank, when it hits 100, that's telling us that the prices have just gotten like too crazy now, and they literally can't go up anymore. And that can oftentimes be this incredible indication of the move stalling out and kind of reversing just because the options are too expensive. So there's no, it's not my sentiment. It's not my thought about gold, and geopolitical risk or inflation or whatever. It's just literally a signal that, look, if you buy options when the IV rank is 100, they're not going to pay off anymore. The options are too expensive. And so that can be an incredible indicator. And at the same point, this trail here is showing the last 10 days of how we moved around on this chart. And so when the spiders and Qs were actually very, very cheap last week, right? And you can see them now, they're starting to get more expensive. So if we're watching for a signal of the market now being overbought, right, and maybe a short-term top, you want to see the names move towards the right of this chart. So if you see, spiders move over into this area, for example, or Qs move over into this area, for example, then I know that the options market is starting to price in stuff is overbought, right? It's too expensive. And if you can combine that too expensive or too cheap in the option space with your technical indicators, the other indicators that you watch, I believe you have extreme levels of success with that, right? Because you're taking these two modalities and you're overlining them, right? And you're saying, okay, my personal indicators are telling me too cheap, or over too bullish or too bearish, right? Or momentum's about to break out, whatever it is, and the options market's giving me the same signal. That's where I think you can have a tremendous amount of success in watching volatility.
Yeah, someone had a great question here. It's I think Rich, can you show how spot gamma can help to predict where price can go?
Yep.
And in that, is it mostly just looking at those big option areas, call walls, put walls? and
Yeah.
just becoming a magnet like price. Almost kind of, I'm a cam trader, so the cams that I use just become a magnet to price. So I think of those option levels as those magnets, and also where price can start to turn a little bit too.
Yeah, and that's a great question. So when you look at this, right, this is our we call this our total open interest model, and all this is showing you is how big are the call positions and put positions at each strike, right? So orange is call positions and blue is put positions, and we're not doing anything else fancy with this, just showing you where those big positions are, right? And so in this case, what you see is Qualcomm moved up to 200, which is this giant orange bar. And this data comes out pre-market. It's based on the close of trading on Friday. And you can see that over that line, right, there's the positions drop sharply. You can see those bars are a fraction. And so if you think about dealer hedging, right, the dealers want to hedge and they have all this exposure up into 200. And then what happens at 200? The exposure goes away. And the exposure is described by this orange line. So the orange line flattens out, the blue is puts, that put line flattens out. And what that's telling me is the dealers don't really have any more exposure. They don't have any more hedging to do above that level. And there's so many times where the move stalls out at these areas because the options market makers just don't have anything else to hedge, right? It's like over 200, they have no exposure. So they're like done. It's like that buyer, right? That incremental buying is just gone over that level. And kind of the same thing to the downside, right? It's like under kind of 140 here. I mean, the stock's up huge today. It's like the selling would be exhausted. And we've had so much success looking at this, particularly like earnings, for example, right? When you're trying to figure out how big a move could be into earnings. And you know, like
That's
Tesla
big right
was,
now.
yeah, and the Mag 7s, right? So like Tesla, look at the size of the options volume at 500. So if I think Tesla's great because they're going to sell robots and cars, and I'm a macro guy, or I have a swing trade that I want to hold on for a month, or like whatever my time frame is, like I have all this reason to believe here's 450 where we stalled today, right? But these positions are really big. So when I'm thinking about this, I'm like, okay, maybe we don't get 500 today, but I have all these reasons to see these giant positions up at 500 as this like future price magnet, right? That's there. And so if I'm riding the Tesla momentum, I'm like, hey, look, probably not today, right? But that's just such a huge bar that's sitting up there for Tesla, and maybe that's the thing I'm watching into a bull. If there was a bullish earnings, I know they were reported, right? But those are the type of dynamics I think that are really helpful. And then you have this giant amount as 400, which I would look at as really big support. And so those are the bigger targets, and you can break those down into shorter time frames if you want. But at the end of the day, you can use these big open interest levels as support and resistance. And then obviously, as all the trades take place today, we update this chart for tomorrow and say, okay, Qualcomm came out with big news. There's a huge move. How did traders react to that, right? Is there now more open interest right here at Qualcomm at higher strikes? And if there is, well, then I think that Qualcomm has the potential to move up a little bit more. Let's imagine that there's no more open interest that shows up over 200, which is kind of impossible to believe given the stock is trading at 200. But if you don't see new calls added above, that's oftentimes a signal that people aren't buying it, right? That it's like, hey, why didn't new hedge funds open up positions in December at 225, for example, right? If this news was so good. So you want to see those levels move up. And for that, you can just look at these metrics here, for example, right? Like this call wall, we want to see it like 220. Because if the call wall doesn't move up, it means people didn't add calls at higher strikes.
Okay.
And so
yeah,
that's bearish, right? Why didn't they buy more calls at higher strikes if the news is so good? That's like a critical piece of information, right?
And this sounds like, because JT's been coming on and doing amazing, and I tell people spot game, it's a lot of information. It's a lot to digest and take in. A lot of people that are in here during those times are very novice when it comes to options and options activity. Where would you recommend them to start? Looking at the equity hub and basically just looking at what you just covered, would that kind of be the first place to really start understanding how those options are impacting?
Some of it depends on your time frame, right? If you are a shorter term time frame, and you trade the indexes, traces are a marquee tool for trading S&P 500 or ESE mini futures. And even if you just trade NASDAQ, you've got to watch what the S&P is doing. And this tool here is our marquee tool for doing that. This updates intraday. And this can be very simple to understand, right? Support and resistance are at these big bars right here. These bars change over the course of the day. And then the color of the map is really critical as well. And if you put those two pieces of information together, red bad, blue or purple good, that's all you need to know to get started there. And then you can fill in exactly why the color is changing, the position is changing, how that works and what that means kind of as you go. But again, all you need to know is support and resistance really to make this useful. And then the other one is Hero. And why Hero is interesting is because of the intraday momentum, right? So we were talking about Qualcomm today, and you could put the key levels on here if you'd like. So I just have them hidden, but here's our key levels. So call wall at 180, obviously the stock had huge news, so it opened over this level today. But these levels are your support and resistance from the options market. So that's all you need to know, right? Okay, call wall, that's a support and resistance level here. And then the candlestick is Hero, and that's telling me, again, the momentum from the options market. And so if that momentum is going up, I don't want to short the stock, right? If that candlestick line is going higher, because that's telling me people are buying a bunch of calls. So like, why would I want to short into that? But if this metric is going lower, right? If it's rolling over and I want to be short the stock and I know the options market's going in the same way, then that gives me that extra boost of confidence, right? That the options market's going in the same direction I am. And so I can feel better about the move, that may be coming through. And we could take a look at Tesla too, because I know it was a big, had a lot of indication on it. And look here, stock's at 453, and you can see the candlesticks moving back up, right? And so I had mentioned with Andrew that longer dated call buying is actually a bullish indicator, right? And a bullish signal because people are positioning for the stock to go up long out in time. And so what that means to me is that market makers have a lot more hedging to do if the stock goes up. Whereas if everyone's just day trading options, they can be buyers today, right now, like buying calls, and then they could be selling those calls in 10 minutes, right? So the move can be, there can be a lot more chop in a name in that situation, right? And so, right now it's like, here's another explosion in call volume here at 11:15 in Tesla. And the fact that it's the purple line going up a lot more than the short-term flows is quite a bullish signal to me. And so, if I'm sitting here thinking I want to short Tesla, I don't want to do it while this purple line's going up with that much strength, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Nathan, you muted on me there.
How do the
There you go.
dealers hedge? Do they mostly, say if they're doing Tesla or Nvidia, are they more likely to buy NASDAQ futures? Or are they more likely to just use that underlying asset?
You ask a fantastic question. So on a normal day for a normal stock, let's say like Apple, Microsoft, whatever, in a typical move, you could hedge out those stocks, right, or those moves with QQQs or NASDAQ futures, right? Because they move oftentimes like in pretty predictable correlations. However, you have what's called idiosyncratic risk oftentimes. What does that mean? Like Qualcomm is going off today and it's up 15%. You can't hedge that with NASDAQ futures, right? Because the stock has this individual news and it's getting this, individual move, right? It's moving not correlated to the other assets there. So in that situation, you have to trade it or have to hedge it with, the asset itself, right? Now, maybe you could hedge off Qualcomm with AMD, if you have offsetting exposure there. But again, a lot of these moves are what I call, again, idiosyncratic because it's the news specific to the name, and the name is getting such outsized movement today that you kind of don't have a choice, right? You got to hedge out Qualcomm by trading Qualcomm stock today, or buying deep out of the money Qualcomm something, right? But you have to hedge Qualcomm with Qualcomm when you're getting, that type of a move. And just to see what the options volume is today, 400,000 calls in Qualcomm to be 2 hours in is quite a lot, right? If you get over 1 million calls trading or options trading for a single stock, that's not like Tesla and Nvidia will do that oftentimes, but that's how you know the volume is huge. So like I had a syst up before. I don't know what this thing is, but the options volume just going crazy in this thing. Whatever this mutual fund is, it's very strange to have Strive Inc. I'm not sure what that is. Very, very unusual options volume. Like that's massive. And Qualcomm at 400,000, that's Not actually. I mean, that's a lot for the morning, but that, it doesn't seem clear that it's going to hit 1 million contracts to me today. So that seems a little bit light. Tesla volume, though, for 1 million contracts for 11 a.m. is really, really big. And so it helps to put, when you look at that options volume, if you're getting about 1 million contracts, that the options volume is a massive driver in the name you're watching, right? And so you can
because
always.
that's what I've been wondering when you see, Nvidia taking off, Tesla taking off, and then Nasdaq's just going with it. I'm like, man, I
Yeah.
wonder if that's how they're hedging those positions when we get into those areas.
Yeah, and I mean, look at Tesla, right? So, like over the last 30 days, the biggest, the highest we've gotten our indicator is 1.7. That's $1 billion, which is what this axis is, right? This secondary axis. So far today, we've already done 1.3 billion of call buying, dollar value, right? So that's a lot. Like that is a lot. And this is leverage, right? So if people are buying longer dated calls, like you're not going to buy it in all likelihood a December Tesla call and then sell it in 20 minutes. You're probably not going to do that,
Yeah.
right? You could buy Friday's Tesla calls and sell them. Like that makes a lot more sense. So what that means to me is tomorrow, this upside exposure is still going to be there for the dealers. Like I don't want to short that momentum over a longer term time frame either. You know what I mean? And then you look at kind of like Qualcomm and you say to yourself like, okay, the stock's up 15%, but the options market stopped buying this thing. They just at 200, everybody stopped. And I don't know if that's like where the PE goes to too crazy or people on the back of the envelope calculating incremental revenues are like, whatever it is, I don't know, but they're fading that hard, right? So I don't want to buy the dip until that appears to be over. And at the moment, like, what's the signal to make you think you want to kind of like ride that bus? And then the other cool thing is you can look at the overall market here, right? And so the overall market now, S&P equities is all the stocks that are in the S&P 500. We sum the signal. So Tesla is 1.3 billion. We just see so 1.3 of the total of basically 2 billion is just Tesla. So that's a huge amount there. You can scan through Nvidia. You can look at the impact of all these individual names here. So Nvidia is doing 500 million. It usually does or it's done as much as 1.6. So like, okay, Nvidia is all right. We're AMD. I know came up earlier this morning, minus 19 million. So is that a lot? Not really. You can do $700 million, for example. So light selling in these other names, huge concentrated buying in some names is also an important signal as well, right? Like if you had record stock buying in every individual stock, well, that maybe you could argue be a little bit more bullish than mostly Tesla momentum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The
Yeah, no,
NASDAQ
that makes sense.
overall.
That clears up some things for me. So thank you.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
just last thing, NASDAQ overall is doing $800 million so far. It can do as much as 5 billion. So the index flow is also fairly light today. We're not seeing people pile in. And not only that, do you see how the purple and the teal line are essentially totally overlapped with each other? That tells me that the only thing trading in NASDAQ today is 0DT options because all the flow is expiration. Otherwise, you'd see a gap between the purple candles and the teal. So you're not seeing that, right? So again, if I'm going to reframe this market being higher, sort of like a lot of Tesla momentum, yeah, you had the QQQ vacuum, but are people buying a lot of NASDAQ options and things like that? Not really, right? So, is that a signal that the market overall is going to be, a little more quieter, a little more in line today? That's totally possible. As opposed to if you had a situation where NASDAQ was doing 2.5 billion of longer dated flow because the China US deal was signed, right? And then I go, okay, people are buying options like crazy for December. This has a ton of momentum. Right now, it seems like it's a little bit more some day trading, some single stocks breaking out, but that broad-based rally here with the market up overall 1.1% on that gap up, it seems like people are a little more sitting on their hands. Is how I take that, which matters to me when I'm looking at what happens tomorrow and the next day. And if you think about it, we got FOMC on Wednesday, you have the Mag 7 earnings on Wednesday night and Thursday night, and then you have the China Z meeting on Thursday, where U.S. China meeting on Thursday. So there's all these big events coming up, which, why would the longer dated NASDAQ traders step in before those key events? Like, okay, kind of makes sense that something's going on Tesla, something's going on Qualcomm, and then overall, like it's a lot of, 0DT guys playing around is the way that I'm looking at today.
And then when those news events and those things are happening on that days, are you really paying attention to options flow and how it's changing? Just
The
even
options
on, Trace or
Yeah, the options flow matters a ton, but you won't get a better indicator, in my view, than what implied volatility is doing. And I know that
Okay.
this is going to sound a little bit complicated for people, but I'm going to give you an example. So, what this is showing you is and here's an example of our help manual, right? Didn't mean to click on that, but there it is. So this is a heady topic, but I think it's really important, right? So this is the price of all the options in the S&P 500. These are all the strikes, and these are all the expirations, right? And so we all know the VIX, right? If the VIX goes down, what do you think? The market has less what?
Volatility.
Volatility, less fear, right? Less fear. VIX spikes, people get scared, right? So how do you know if the Trump Z meeting was good or bad? Fear goes down or fear goes up, right?
Yeah, VIX goes up or down, yeah.
Yeah. And so I hear in the news, like, okay, Besson says there's a China-US framework and the futures are up a bunch. So like, obviously the market liked that. But the way that you can really wrap your mind around if this is a bullish or bearish for the long term is the value of options goes up and down. Does the VIX go up or down? And so what's cool about this is I can compare all of these prices to Friday night, right? So I'll just click on this chart and I say, how does this compare to the 24th, which was Friday night? And what I think is interesting about this, so we're in compare mode, right, is the prices of options are actually a little bit higher than they were on Friday night, right? And so when I'm thinking about is there still risk for the rest of this week, the fact that the options prices are higher tells me that there's still some anxiety about what's happening with FOMC and also the China meeting. And if the China thing was totally solved, you would expect to see this map show negative values. And what that tells me is the volatility levels went down from Friday night. Does that make sense? So the fact that these numbers are all positive says, look, the 11.3 68.50 strikes are 1% or 1 vol point higher, right? 1.2 vol points higher. If there was like less risk now, you would expect that to be a negative number, and it's not. And so to me, I watch this around these events, and as events come up and go, to really help me navigate whether the events that are taking place are bullish or bearish, or whether traders are worried about this stuff or not, right? So like everyone's going to talk about FOMC, and this is the most important thing ever, and the Trump Z thing is the most important thing ever. Well, what are options pricing? How much movement is being priced in around that? If the options market is saying like we don't care, then you're going to see options prices be pretty cheap. You'll see the VIX go down. You'll see these values on their screen be red instead of green. So you can really take the emotions out of the events just by looking at how the options prices are reacting, right? You'll know if the Trump Z meeting was good because the VIX goes down and you'll see red across this whole matrix, and it can be as simple as that, right? And that to me is the real value in watching the options market, right, and watching the volatility levels shift because of the extremes in pricing and the changes in pricing. And the tools here we give you, just to give you an example, right? Like if you were just to look at this line as a novice, and this is what we call term structure of the S&P, you'd say to yourself, like, I don't really know what this means, but we give you like the stats around this. So you'd say, like, are these values high or low? Well, if you turn on statistics, you can see that we're right in the middle of the range, and you see this bump right here. This bump is what options traders are pricing in for the Trump Z meeting on the 31st. Do you see that? So it's like FOMC is here, but people are more worried about the Trump Z meeting for Thursday. So the Trump Z thing matters more than what the Fed is going to say. And not only that, like the options prices are not particularly expensive. If they were expensive and there was a lot of real fear in the market, then you would see this teal line be up here, right? It would be statistically elevated, but it's not. So whatever Besson said took like the risk out of the market, but there's still like people are still a little bit worried about that meeting, right? And if the meeting is good, then what you're going to see is you'll see this line move down here at the bottom, and that tells me that no one cares about any risk anymore, and that's very bullish for the rest of the year. So if that teal line moves here after the Trump Z meeting, then to me it's like, okay, Santa Claus on, like, let's go, right? And so that's what I'm going to be watching for. Because how are you going to know whether the deal with all the nuance and everything going on is actually good or bad? Like I don't know anything about macroeconomics and fundamental or geopolitical risk and all that, right? But if the options market moves to this, I'm like, okay, who cares what everyone on Twitter says? Like the fact that options market just moved there tells me that like we're risk on. And if it's a bad meeting, then you're going to see this teal line look like a Nike hockey stick swoosh thing, right? The levels will all move up like this. And that's telling you that there's a lot of fear in the market and we're probably crashing, right? If that kind of thing happens.
Okay. No, that's awesome, man. I'm
Yeah, and
excited you were on today. That
well,
cleared a lot of stuff up for me.
I'm glad, and I know I can talk fast and be a little complicated, but we also write again these founders notes every day. I was talking about the U.S. China meeting here, so we write these notes every day. We have the Q&As twice a week, so we really like to provide the education along with everything else. So don't worry if it sounds a little bit complicated, because we help you out, we hold your hand, and we're hopefully giving you a nice education along with the daily insights.
Yeah, I've been telling everybody, maybe this stuff's a little overwhelming. It's a little too much, how to use it. It's just like most things in trading, even when you're getting into technical analysis, the more you hear it, the more you see it, the more that starts to click for you, the more then you're going to start to understand. But this was
Yeah.
awesome. This is extremely helpful.
Well, thank you for that. And I think the thing is, like, if you're sitting here saying, like, I don't care about the option market, doesn't mean anything to you, like, in a way, like, I almost feel that that's slightly irresponsible, right? Because the options market just keeps getting bigger, and the volumes just keep growing, and the impacts, just keep growing. And so, whether you're watching some stuff with us, or you just start looking at daily volumes on like Yahoo Finance or something, like, you really got to start dedicating, I think, time to understand this. Like, it's just a fact of these markets that the derivatives space just keep growing, and a third of our users are international users, so there's just so many eyeballs on the U.S. markets, and not only that, there's so many cool trades you can now do in the options market, and so many cool strategies. So you don't have to worry about trading options. You can just worry about how the options are moving your individual stocks, and then that is the gateway drug into actually being able to trade options. And there's so many cool ways with zero DTs and everything else to express trades that offer incredible risk reward, right? Setups that you really kind of like, not only do you learn how options are driving markets, but also like how to trade options as well. And I think that can be very powerful and useful.
Oh, that's awesome. The last question I have is, are you ready for ski season?
I'm super excited for ski season. I'm negotiating with my wife now to to let me go. I got my Kimosabe hat on, which is an Aspen thing. So I skied Aspen last time for the first year, which was really cool.
Oh, hey, man, if you come to Colorado, let me know. I would love to join you. I know pretty much most of the mountains around here pretty well, especially over in Aspen. So
yeah, if I remember correctly, you're one heck of a skier, so I don't want you to leave me in the dust or leave. But
oh no,
I'll try to keep up.
I'll go easy. We won't do anything too crazy. No cliff drops and like big steep moguls if you're not ready for them. But
Yeah, we're gonna be doing the Money Show in Las Vegas this year, so I'm gonna be
oh
out
sweet, I'll
out
be
west.
there.
So, oh, sweet, awesome, yeah. So I'm gonna try to set something up there. So maybe we'll hit you up and we'll get together
Yeah,
and,
if
and
you
try
want
to
to go
ski
to like
something around there.
over there at Tahoe or something, I can take a few extra days and meet you there.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking
Be
maybe
amazing.
Tahoe, because yeah, that would be really fun. So yeah, let's hook up, Nathan. It'll be fun.
All right, Brent. Thank you so
All right,
much.
thank you everybody for your
Bye.
time, and hope to see you at the open house this week.
All right, guys, that was awesome, man. I hope you guys got as much out of that as I did. I was like a little giddy, like a kid in a candy store. How are you guys doing today? Let's see. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are asking, how can you use this for day trading? You know, how can you maximize, some of this information? Is it worth learning? Is it worth knowing about? I think it is. I think of it a lot as playing Camarilla pivots and just trading liquidity like we have here on Atlas. I think of the options levels, your call walls, your put walls, your hedge wall, key gamma strikes. I think of those like the cams. They're like magnets. Prices close to those, they really like to go and test that level. There's going to be a lot of liquidity there. There's going to be a lot of hedging activity possible there. So there's going to be some volatility. So, the market makers like to get to those areas. And then when you're looking at, at the liquidity areas too, matching that up with what you're seeing on Atlas, are there orders there? Are there large orders at those prices? You'll see for option areas, there's always liquidity at those, especially when you start getting into, is Nvidia, I don't know if Nvidia is doing it every $2.50, but you know, if it is, you would be looking for those options areas every $2.50, you know, 190, then 192.50, 195. There's going to be a lot of interaction there, a lot of volatility when we get there. So I do think of them as important, like important, very useful. It just gives you even a little bit more of an edge in the market. And that's why we're all here. We're all here trying to gain an even greater edge. And I think this information really does help you, and it's really beneficial. So go back and listen to all that. If you are interested in spot gamma, it sounds like now's a great time to try it out and get into it. But I love it. It's helped my trading. To me, it's worth the price. It's been phenomenal for my trading, and then matching that up with Camarilla pivots. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of more confluence and an area to trade when those things end up matching up. But let's see. So how are you guys today? Yeah, Mar, worth learning for sure. And again, you're not going to digest it all the first time, the second time, the third time you hear it. It's going to take a little bit for you to start hearing the words hedging, hearing the words delta, hearing the words gamma, hearing the words volatility, and then starting to understand exactly, you know, what that means. And then you'll start to be able to apply it. Let's see. VIX can be an advanced indicator to where the market is going. Yeah, and also, Jay, just getting an idea of kind of the waters that you're in. Are you in a low volatility environment where you may just not get, you know, some more chopping, or are you in a high volatility environment where we get to a level and you can just really accelerate and go? Kind of what we saw there on Tesla. You just get to a level, you get some volatility, probably some hedging activity that's coming in there, and it just goes. It just runs. Yeah, you're welcome, Jordan. Let's see. Very interesting. Spot gamma a bit deeper than my level. Yeah, that's okay, JPEN, ATL. You know, JT's been on here 3 times now, and I don't know if we have his when he's been on here with YouTubes. I don't know if we have those marked as when he was on here, but if you want to email me, I can, Nathan@bearbulltraders.com. I can get you the dates of those videos and go back and watch him, because he brings the information too. So I'm glad we have the relationship with them that we do, because they're on top of this options market probably better than anybody. Let me bring up Tesla. Let's see how it's been going. I got a long on MES and MNQ. I'm just trying to watch that. It's starting to actually work out for me. So trying to get up to 26,000, hopefully on MNQ, and I'm shooting for about 69.15 on MES. And really, you know, Brent was showing us a trace tool, spot gamma's trace tool. Let me zoom in a little bit. Oh, wrong way. And really why I'm shooting for that area. Why won't this zoom in? Well, this is our delta heat map, but it's this GEX bar right here up at 68.80 on SPX. So that'd be about 69.15 for, this thing does not want to zoom in. Can I do a reset? Reset. How about that? Okay, now it's not going to come up on me. Okay, but there's a large open interest there on SPX around 68.80, and so it's be about 69.15 for ES. So that's why I'm really shooting for that area. Have you guys been using Atlas today to trade Tesla? Looks like we still have a lot of liquidity higher. So I would imagine we can get up there. Man, this is nice though. What a breakout. Look at that volume coming in right here in this breakout. Beautiful continuation volume here. Drop on volume on the pullback. We lift up, break the high. Here our ceiling became our floor. Still nice continuation volume, break up. We're picking up volume, pulling back. We're dropping off a little bit. So we're just up here at R6. So be hard area to long off of. But you know, if you're still long and just keeping an eye on Atlas, you've got a lot of levels up here that you can continue to shoot for. And then if you start getting into spot gamma and reading options activity, those calls are still coming in, give you a lot more confidence to hold up to that 460 level. But yeah, what a move, man. I mean, Tesla sold off hard a couple days last week, and now we're getting into that $50 range. Wow, that's a move. That's a big move. I'll be interested in watching it here though at R6. Probably wouldn't be a great short here at R6, but it's just too strong. Really, some selling really needs to come in and hit here before you would even think about it. And this wouldn't be a full reversal. You wouldn't be looking to play this for a full reversal. The most would be down to R4, but you'd just be fading this in and taking partials down in there to R4. But right now it's just too strong. I would imagine we're going to try to get up to that 460 area. Even 458's got a nice, yeah, we're stacked really well to that top side. We're filled in pretty nicely too. Oh, there's that order came off. What's going on here? I wonder if somebody got stopped out. They was looking for that target there. How are we doing on the rest of the market? This will be fun. Let's see what happens here. Let's see, is this a 5-minute low? Yes, we're getting into a 5-minute low, trying to build this engulfing candle on the 5. Where are we at on the 15? Not quite a 15-minute low, but that'll be a big topping tail. So we bought here. We're trying to make this prior ceiling our floor. Let's see if that happens here. Because if we start pushing through these areas, we're going to hit some more stops and liquidate a little bit. But I'm curious if it still finds this buyer right here. Because this was where we made that last move. We'd be expecting to find them here. Let's see what Atlas is going to show us. So what I would want to see here, if this were a continuation, really it's going to be how this candle forms, this one that we're having right now, this 1-minute candle. I'd want to see how that forms. I would like to see a test down into like this 454 and then get a nice bottoming tail. We can see something like this candle here or this candle here. I'd like to see and some volume coming in, some buying volume and a pop on Atlas. And really what that is the ask lifting kind of like it did there, but it needs to continue to lift. Now we've got a large order coming on at 453. So just within this close view, we're looking a little bearish just into this closer view, but those orders are staying on. Yeah, that order's staying on at 58. And we're getting some orders building here to the top side. Let's see, there's our order there at 454, but a dip into this order. Let's see what happens. This is actually might be some good price action we can show. So a dip, a hard dip. So this bid drops in, drops down, and pops right back up. And I'm going to want to see green dots hitting that ask. Okay, there we go. We're dropping down. So now can we form that tail? We're looking for these kind of tails. There it is. That's nice. Ooh, that's real nice. Okay, now make this 1-minute high. And on this 1-minute high, that ask needs to continue to lift. Okay, now we stalled. We can't make that 1-minute high just yet, but we're picking up the volume. That's a nice tail. Now this ask needs to continue to lift, and we need to get more volume on the ask to push it higher. Decent candle, but we immediately offered lower. You see, we closed that and it dropped, immediately offered lower. So now we may need to dip down even a little bit further into this area. That should have started to offer higher and pushed into that 1-minute high, but it offered lower. So let's see, we get a 1-minute high. And I want you to watch on that 1-minute high, this ask needs to really take off. And if you have your time and sales up, that means a lot of green coming through. A lot of green quickly on the tape, hitting hard and fast. But this will tell us if this stalls here, this breaks up and it doesn't expand, then it needs to come back down and retest, probably into this 453 into this area. There we stalled. Let's see, can we lift? It's not lifting. We're getting a little bit of that buying exhaustion right into here. We couldn't lift and hold. We open, okay, we do offer higher here. Here's one more chance. Let's see. We're not getting a ton of participation right there on it. Let's see. Lift, lift, lift. It's stalling. That's better than last time. Okay. There we go. That's it right there. That's really nice. I want to see this volume pick up though. So now how do you play something like this? A weak retest back into this 454. So now we got the pop. We did find some buying over that high. Now we're stalling off of it again, right into R6. But a weak retest into this area would be what you're looking for. And this same thing to happen again, but now we're respecting R6. So this wouldn't be quite as good. This would need to be up over here, over this area. Let's see. Catch up on the questions. Let's see. Nvidia set up for an R6 reversal. Yeah, it's been rejecting. Let's see if Nvidia is doing anything. So the book is pretty bullish. Let's see. Yeah, we're pretty bullish all the way up to that 91.50. But I do like this candle right here. This is kind of what we were looking for on Tesla though. But taking a long in here for a breakout, you're taking it into R6. Your probability of getting something like that into a breakout would be low, especially since we're really starting to pick up some volume and settle into this area. And that rejection with that kind of volume, that would be tough. If you're already in this though, and looking for an area, 91.50, I hope you would take a partial there because that would be a breakout of the high. But then what happens here? What happens on the breakout of that high? And then what happens back on that retest? So there's a nice candle we pop up. This was a nice weak retest back into here. Get the high, close high, close high. Now we're kind of reverting back in. Let me zoom in. So here's a nice engulfing candle. This would be your area of support right through here. It looks like a really nice area. But if you're going in through here to here, you're just not a good trade. And we're respecting R6. Like we would need to see this R6 fail. And that would mean big pushes over and then weak retest back into that area. A higher high, then a higher low, and then testing it again and picking up volume over the top. We're getting some volume in right here, right off this area. Trying to respect it. But now, just like we were looking on Tesla, we need to lift over the highs. And the volume needs to pick up over the highs. Let's see. You're all out on Tesla, just waiting for a re-entry. It's really too high for a re-entry on the long. I don't know if you were trying to go short, and it's just really too strong for a short when we were looking at it. So, and it's not a ton of volume though on here. I mean, we're getting what we want, but there needs to be more volume through here. That's just not very good volume. But it is lifting and it is starting to close higher right there. So what we were looking for on Nvidia, so Tesla doesn't really seem to be respecting R6 right now. It didn't get into this area and make a new low. But this is what you would want to see on Nvidia. That push over R6, good volume on the push over, and then a weak retest back to it to show that it's not respecting. Let's see. Hi, Nathan. How do you put the R6, R4? Is it settings on your platform? It's through TradingView, and it's Thor's Camarilla pivot plays that Bruz is set up. And then I just use Thor mode. But if you're wanting to see my settings, you can take a screenshot or go back and look at the video. But these are just the settings I have. I don't like the inputs in the status line, though. So those are just the settings that I have on there, but it's just Thor mode. Because these by far are the best cams I've ever used. All right, there's another close higher, but man, that volume just isn't picking up. This volume should really start to pick up because we need that momentum here on Tesla if we're going to break this high. We need some more momentum on there because we're looking for a move like that high. You see how this volume is starting to come in here as we're getting into that area? Would I short Nvidia at 192? Let's see. Where is that for Nvidia? Is that all-time highs for Nvidia? Nope, not yet. So that's the weekly 192. Where's it at on the daily? And we're kind of filling in that gap. 4 hour. Okay, we have a gap here at a 4 hour, but we would mitigate that at 192. What do we have on the 30? There's a gap there on the 30. It's looking okay. So it is looking like an area we've sold from before. We have some resistance there. So it would really depend on the volume when we got up there. Is that volume starting to die off as we get into that 192? Or is it starting to pick up? So let me actually go to 5. Maybe 10. I want to see the book. I wanted to see the book above that level. There's 192. So we do have a nice ladder to get up to 192, but it's really, or is that 196? Here's 194. There's 193. There's 192 right there. So we do have a nice ladder to get up there and go higher off of the book. But really, it's going to depend on the volume. If you're continuing to pick up a lot of volume on your breaks of your highs like this, picking up volume and breaking over the high, picking up volume, breaking over the high, here was a nice rejection. But the volume would just have to die off if you're going to think of shorting in there. And you're not looking for a full reversal. Maybe the best you could get is to VWAP. As VWAP starts to come up, maybe back to R6. But the volume on the sell side's really got to come in. It's still pretty strong on the buy side. Starting to get a little bit. Even maybe some volume like this up into 192, a nice candle into 192, but that volume's dropping off as we try to lift and go higher. That's something you would definitely need to see on there. Well, we can get more into this if you guys are BBT Elite members. My Monday webinars start in 5 minutes, 4 minutes. But we can talk more about that in here and continue watching this and continue watching Tesla too. But we're definitely respecting our sticks here on Nvidia. So that buying volume would need to come in and then start to exhaust over the top of this high into 192, big topping tail candle with some volume. And then immediately on that next offer higher on that low, or that next offer lower on that 1 minute low, would need the volume to come in like this. So you would essentially need this kind of pattern and VPA up there at 192. This is what you'd be looking for into that area. Let's see. Marco, did you see when I brought up my settings there? I just have the Thor settings. Those are the ones that I have on there. I'll bring it up again, but if you want to look at them or take a screenshot. Let's see. Any more room? I know, but Tesla, you're saying you can't imagine any more room for Tesla to run higher and get to that area. You just have to remember that Tesla does Tesla things, and that is one of them. Is it will make moves that you don't think it can make, and it will do them very quickly. That's why I had never been very successful at trading Tesla. I don't know how many times I took Tesla off my trade list, and after a while I was just like, I like to watch it just because it does have some effect on the market. But yeah, we're not really, let's see, we're not really respecting, well, there it did reject right at R6, but we'll talk more about this in the webinar room. If you guys want to come over, we'll watch these. This is actually some pretty decent price action for the lunchtime traders. So it'll be interesting to see, but if you think Tesla can't get way up here, it can, and it can pretty quickly. That's why Tesla is a beast sometimes. It will do things that you never thought it could do or would do, and it will do it pretty quickly. Yeah, so another move like this for today, something like this for today, another one for Tesla. I mean, the probability may be low, but to say that it won't do it, it could definitely do it. You know, you'll be seeing, you want an extension over this high with volume coming in, and then the same thing over that high with that volume coming in. Well, sweet guys, this was fun, man. I hope you guys really enjoyed Brent being here. That was awesome, man. I'd been wanting to talk to him for a while about some stuff, and got a lot of questions answered that cleared some things up for me. So let's see. But yeah, come join me in the webinar room if you're a BBT Elite member. If not, why don't you go ahead and get your free week and come over and see me, and we'll talk some stuff. See you guys. I appreciate it.